Sunday, February 25th, 2024, 11:34 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. From C-SPAN, August 30th, 2023, White House Daily Briefing. FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell briefed reporters at the White House amid Hurricane Idalia making landfall in Florida. She said it was too early to assess the damage caused by the storm, but that it was the strongest hurricane to hit the Big Bend area of Florida in 100 years, which is where the peninsula and panhandle merge. Administrator Criswell also said the Biden administration had sent out 1,500 federal personnel to Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina for support, and that she would visit Florida the next day to assess the damage. She also took questions on the ongoing federal response to the wildfires in Maui, Hawaii. The total length of the video is 52 minutes and 28 seconds.
Yeah, technically, kids are in school,
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to apologize for the late start. The administrator was meeting with the president, giving the president an update, and so we wanted to make sure we had her with us before we came out, given the day. So again, good afternoon, everyone. This morning, Hurricane Idalia made landfall in Florida as a major hurricane. Our administration is prepared to support any needs that may arise as Idalia moves through Florida and into Georgia. Personnel and resources from across the federal government and from our voluntary and
I've got to go back. The language used, our administration, not the Biden administration or the administration of President Biden, but instead our administration. In this position, every word is meaningful. Every word is. Every word counts.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to apologize for the late start. The administrator was meeting with the president, giving the president an update, and so we wanted to make sure we had her with us before we came out, given the day. So again, good afternoon, everyone. This morning, Hurricane Idalia made landfall in Florida as a major hurricane. Our administration is prepared to support any needs that may arise as Idalia moves through Florida. And
our administration.
Meeting with the president, giving the president an update, and so we wanted to make sure we had her with us before we came out, given the day. So again, good afternoon, everyone. This morning, Hurricane Idalia made landfall in Florida as a major hurricane. Our administration is prepared to support any needs that may arise as Idalia moves through Florida and into Georgia. Personnel and resources from across the federal government and from our voluntary and nonprofit partners are ready to assist. Later today, the American people will hear directly. They will hear directly from the president.
Our voluntary and community partners. Our voluntary and community partners up here in the words provided by C-SPAN. It said, Administrator Criswell also said the Biden administration had sent out 1,500 federal personnel. Well, I wonder if you did an accounting there. Of these 1,500, how many are voluntary and community partners as opposed to actual federal personnel?
President an update, and so we wanted to make sure we had her with us before we came out, given the day. So again, good afternoon, everyone. This morning, Hurricane Idalia made landfall.
I mean, what does that mean, given the day? Given what day? Given the day? Well, it's a day. I mean, what the heck does that mean? Given the day. Us, our. Boy, I'll tell you what. My goodness. Wow. Boy, that's something. That is some kind of something.
In Florida as a major hurricane. Our administration is prepared to support any needs that may arise as Idalia moves through Florida and into Georgia. Personnel and resources from across the federal government and from our voluntary and nonprofit partners are ready to assist. Later today, the American people will hear directly. They will hear directly from the president. He will speak about our efforts to respond to Hurricane Idalia and
our efforts. Our efforts. He will speak to our efforts. Not, the president will speak regarding his administration's efforts. No. My goodness. You know what? Boy, I'll tell you what. The Nixon Library. I think it's the Nixon Library. Yes. In Yorba Linda. Yes. They had members of his staff, the ones that did the work, gave a presentation about how they created the workflow of the modern White House, like the book and press and everything, like how you do everything, it's an amazing thing. And I'll guarantee you wouldn't be talking like that out of the Nixon White House or the Reagan White House or the George H.W. Bush White House or the Clinton White House or the George W. Bush White House or the Obama White House or the Trump White House. You wouldn't ever hear anything like that. Now, I know there's some issues with some of those press folks at the beginning of the Trump administration, but you know what? They were doing their best, and okay, fine. So, you know what? At least President Trump moved through until he got the one he needed, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But look at this. My goodness.
Ongoing commitment to help the residents of Maui recover after the tragic wildfires earlier this month as well. But before I turn...
So, wait a minute. Double disasters? The Maui fire and this hurricane thing too? My goodness. Really? Oh my, oh my.
Over to the FEMA administrator for an update here directly.
I gotta go back. I've got to go back. It's only 30 seconds.
Good afternoon, everyone. Apologies for the late start. The administrator was meeting with the president, giving the president an update, and so we wanted to make sure we had her with us before we came out, given the day. So again, good afternoon, everyone. This morning, Hurricane Idalia made landfall in Florida as a major hurricane. Our administration is prepared to support any needs that may arise as Idalia moves through Florida and into Georgia. Personnel and resources from across the federal government and from our voluntary and nonprofit partners are ready to assist. Later today, the American people will hear directly. They will hear directly from the president. He will speak about our efforts to respond to Hurricane Idalia and our ongoing commitment to help the residents of Maui recover after the tragic wildfires earlier this month as well. But before I turn it over to the FEMA administrator for an update on Hurricane Idalia, we want to make sure all of those experiencing the effects of Idalia are on the path to make sure that they are staying safe. If you're experiencing hurricane wind, storm surge, and flooding, don't venture outside. Listen to warnings of local officials and shelter in place. Do not enter floodwaters since there can be chemicals and debris. If you are in the projected path of the hurricane, please remain alert, closely monitoring any changes to its path. Listen to local and state officials for guidance and evacuation notices, and finish your preparedness. The president...
My goodness. Really? Stay in your house, they're saying. Stay in your house. Well, what if the water comes? You got to leave your house, right? You don't stay in the path. You evacuate out when a hurricane's coming. You don't stay in your dwelling. You go to higher ground. That's why they have those, by the coastal areas, that's why they have those signposts that mark the level of the water. To get out, you've got to leave or you're going to drown. You shelter in place for a tornado. You get the heck out of there for a hurricane. And if there's a fire, you got to go too. But, oh, well, we know what happened in Hawaii. Like, oh, seemingly no water pressure. But they had plenty of water up in the mountain at some preserve. Yeah, they did. They had it up there in some mountain, but they didn't have any water pressure down where people live. But they had water pressure for a forest preserve. Since they're talking about Maui as well. It's a double header here. Yeah, boy, gosh, two. Yeah, 2 disasters in one. My goodness.
President and our entire administration. Our list can be chemicals, can winds.
Listen to this.
We recover.
Now, chemicals. Where are the chemicals at? I've never heard of chemicals. Chemical warning for a hurricane? Well, where are those coming from? I mean, where are the chemicals coming from? I mean, I don't understand that. I've never in my entire life. I've heard a lot of hurricane warnings. I've lived on the East Coast. I have. I've heard plenty. I've never heard anything about that in my life. Chemicals. Why not warn about giant anacondas and alligators, maybe? Snakes, I don't know. I mean, why? Look out for the boats coming. My goodness. Oh my gosh, I'll tell you what. My, oh my. This was August 30th, 2023. I'm going back to the beginning. I gotta go back. Slowest storm hit this part of Florida in over 100 years.
Good afternoon, everyone. What apologies for the late start. The administrator was meeting with the president, giving the president an update, and so we wanted to make sure we had her with us before we came out, given the day. So again, good afternoon, everyone. This morning, Hurricane Idalia made landfall in Florida as a major hurricane. Our administration is prepared to support any needs that may arise as Idalia moves through Florida and into Georgia. Personnel and resources from across the federal government and from our voluntary and nonprofit partners are ready to assist. Later today, the American people will hear directly. They will hear directly from the president. He will speak about our efforts to respond to Hurricane Idalia and our ongoing commitment to help the residents of Maui recover after the tragic wildfires earlier this month as well. But before I turn it over to the FEMA administrator for an update on Hurricane Idalia, we want to make sure all of those experiencing the effects of Idalia are on the path to make sure that they are staying safe. If you're experiencing hurricane wind, storm surge, and flooding, don't venture outside. Listen to warnings of local officials.
Don't venture outside. There's a flood coming. You got to get out. You got to go to higher ground. You don't stay in your dwelling unit. Not when a flood's coming, you don't. You go to higher ground. I'm pressing on the upward plane. New heights I'm gaining every day. And as I upward go, Lord, plant my feet on higher ground. What the hell's that? I'm sorry. Well, what's going on with that? What's going on with that? Why is that doing that? What the hell is that? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway. Yeah, anyway. It's okay. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you what. I'm not sure what. Oh my goodness. Yeah, hang on.
and shelter in place. Do not enter flood. A commitment to help the residents of Maui recover after the tragic wildfires earlier this month as well. But before I turn it over to the FEMA administrator for an update on Hurricane Idalia, we want to make sure all of those experiencing the effects of Idalia are on the path to make sure that they are staying safe. If you're experiencing hurricane wind, storm surge, and flooding, don't venture outside. Listen to warnings of local officials and shelter in place. Do not enter floodwaters since there can be chemicals.
I tell you what, I have to stop again. I cannot believe a spokeswoman, a spokesperson, and she's not an expert on, she's a spokesperson. She's giving deadly advice. Shelter in place in a flood. I can't believe it. I can't believe a spokesperson. The FEMA administrator is going to be speaking. They're the expert. My goodness. I can't wait to see what the FEMA administrator is going to say. But you don't get a pass. No, because every word counts. No, those words are determined by somebody. Of course they are. She's reading them. My gosh, it's so outrageous. I just can't stand it. It's so outrageous. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. I just can't. Oh my gosh. That is deadly guidance. Deadly. Boy, I wonder. I wonder how many people lost their lives. Because it's after the fact. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Boy, what a thing to have to go look at now. I can't even imagine I gotta go look. I can't even imagine I gotta go do that now. I have to go look to see how many lives were lost. Not that there's a direct relationship, but boy, it sure is awful correlated, isn't it? Deadly guidance from the President of the United States, because it's not her words. She's the spokesperson for the President. So these are the President's words. He doesn't get a pass to say it was his spokesperson, and she can't claim that it's hers either. Nope, she's the spokesperson. Only. Those words are supposed to be approved by the President. Surely to goodness, Joe Biden's from Delaware. I think he knows something about hurricanes. He has to. I would think he does, just from practical living. Oh my gosh. I mean, my goodness. Oh my gosh. I tell you what. Oh, mercy. I am just outraged. I'm outraged. I've heard a lot of things said from that podium, but my goodness. Oh my. Not anything like this. That is deadly. That is the President of the United States just advised the citizens that he is responsible for to shelter in place in a hurricane and drown potentially. And where would there be chemicals anyway? That just scare you to want you to want to stay there too. Oh my gosh, we can't go out. The water's coming, but they're going to say there's chemicals. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Oh my, oh my. You know, this is a political issue. It's not legal, it's not criminal, it's not anything else. It's pure politics. Political only. The only consideration is political. Period. So you don't get any break. It's politics. No, you don't get a break. That was deadly. The President of the United States just, in this, told the citizens to shelter in place and potentially drown and be afraid to leave your house when you see the water coming because you're afraid it has chemicals maybe in it. My goodness, that's enough right there. No more questions asked. I mean, that should be more than enough to say, hey, the President of the United States, who gives an oath to the Constitution to protect and defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I mean, that's the oath. We the people are in charge of this Constitution. He owes that duty to us, the people, not some document. My goodness. Boy, that can't be any plainer to me right there. That is the plainest, but that is so plain on its face. You know, it's the highest office in the land. Yeah, you don't get a political break when you're the president. No, you don't. And it doesn't have to be illegal or anything else. It doesn't have to be impeachment or anything. It's just wrong. It's wrong. Period. Just period wrong. How does the President of the United States tell the people the hurricane's coming, the strongest one in 100 years, stay in your house even if the water's coming and it's got chemicals in it? She doesn't matter. Just forget about her face, all right? It doesn't matter. That's the President of the United States standing there. Every time. And it has been, since Richard Nixon, he's the one who really got the thing really organized well. I mean, not because I say so. Listen to the people who worked in the executive office of the president. Just forget. You know, I just want to cover it up. I can't stand to look at it, actually. I really can't. I've never heard this before. I'm listening to it right now for the first time. I can't believe it. I'm so outraged. Oh my gosh. Man. You know what? It doesn't take the House to impeach and the Senate to have a trial, you know. It's politics. Richard Nixon wasn't impeached by the House. They didn't even vote it out of the committee. He never was. No, he was not. He was not. There was no vote at all. And no trial either. And he left office of his own volition, voluntarily, at great sacrifice. He wasn't impeached. There was no vote, even out of the committee. And he left. Because that's what he thought was best for the country. Period. It's a great example, isn't it? Boy, this impeachment stuff is a joke. It doesn't do anything, as we can see. What a waste of everybody's time. It's politics. Nixon is the example. He did the right thing for the country because he served the people. He wasn't impeached. They didn't even vote it out of the House at all, even out of committee. Never came to a vote. They convened a grand jury, though, at the federal district court. There was a grand jury impaneled. There was. But the grand jury never delivered an indictment either. No, they did not. So he wasn't even indicted. No, he wasn't. The Senate had a hearing. Wait a minute. I thought the House had hearings of impeachment. Why did the Senate have a hearing? What was that? That was nothing. That was a hearing. It wasn't an impeachment. That has to happen in the House. He was indicted, though. No, he wasn't indicted. Just a grand jury was impaneled. I haven't checked to see how that was reported on at the time, but I know the grand jury didn't hand down an indictment, so he wasn't even indicted. My goodness. Boy, oh boy. Yeah. Oh my goodness. You know what? And that was Democrats and Republicans both at the time, you know. In the Senate, anyway. Yeah, it sure was. Yeah, Democrats and Republicans both in the Senate. It sure was. Isn't that funny? Bipartisan, I guess you could say that hearing in the Senate was. A hearing. That's all. A hearing? It wasn't even a... It wasn't even a hearing like they have today where you all sit behind the big oak things. Heck, I don't know, boy, I see it, boy, they were just coming up to tables. I'm not sure where they're having that, but My goodness. Oh, yeah, and Richard Milhouse Nixon was sitting in the White House. Yeah, I was like, oh, go ahead, do whatever you all want to do over there. Yeah, just have your media showboat hearing all you want. I'm sitting over here at the White House. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. I tell you what, you know what? My goodness. You know. You serve the people of the United States. You don't serve a document even. What's a document? You don't serve a piece of paper. Oh, I'm a servant to a piece of paper, the Constitution. Are you kidding me? It's we the people. You serve the people. My gosh. Oh, I can't believe it. I just can't even imagine it. I know a lot of people lost their lives in Hawaii. I know there was. That is just horrific. Oh my gosh. And why wasn't there any water pressure? And why was there water pressure up higher somewhere? Why is that? How is that possible? How is that possible? That you don't have water pressure? What's the fire department doing? Their number one responsibility is pressure at the hydrants. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, how do you not have water for fire suppression? Boy, the old-time fire trucks, they came with the bucket brigade, for gosh sakes. With a tank. Are you kidding me? You had pump wells at your house. They came with a bucket brigade. Fire departments exist for one purpose, to put out structure fires. That's it. That's their job, period. Everything else beyond that's extra. My gosh. They don't even come to save life, really, because you don't know that. You come to put the fire out from the structure so it doesn't spread to another structure. Their primary objective isn't even saving the lives. It's stopping the structure from burning so it doesn't spread. We all know about Miss O'Leary's cow, right? My goodness. My, oh my. I tell you what. Oh, I gotta calm down. I have to calm down. We're at 27 minutes already and we're only 1 minute in on this. Oh my goodness.
Debris. If you are in the projected path of the hurricane, please remain alert.
Projected.
Monitoring any changes to its path. Listen to local and state officials for guidance and evacuation.
She puts all the responsibilities on the citizenry. You listen. You check out the path. You figure it out on your own. You gotta do it. Step up. Pay attention. Save your life. Stay in the house. You gotta do it. You, she says. Who's you? I'm a you? Boy, I tell you what. My goodness. I just can't even believe it. I just can't believe it, really. Oh my goodness. You know, it's just so plain. It's not politics. It's not bashing somebody. It's not, showboating, being dramatic or anything else. It's just simply the facts. That's all. It's not even incompetence. It's just wrong. For the President of the United States, I don't care what their name is, any President of the United States, to say to the people, you figure out what you got to do and you stay in your house and the water might have chemicals and you figure it out. That's Joseph Robinette Biden speaking there. It's not this spokesperson. Forget that. That's the wrong idea too. Since when do spokespeople say their own words? They don't. Forget about that person's name standing there. Forget about the administrator's name. They work for the president. And at least the FEMA administrator does have to be confirmed, I believe, by the Senate. This person's a political appointee. And not even that important of one, a spokesperson. They're not even appointed to a job that's important, really. About anybody can get there and do that. The person who had to write all that stuff down, now maybe that's a little different. Spokesperson. MC. Yeah, mistress of ceremonies. That's all. That's what it is. Just a spokesperson. Spokesperson even. That's what they... Press secretary. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? It's still a spokesperson. It's still spokesperson. Press secretary. What the heck is a press... Come on. Are you kidding me? Who has a press secretary? Nobody has a... It's a spokesperson, for gosh sakes. Hey, they do have... People do pay professionals called publicists. But a publicist doesn't get up and talk like that, though. No, publicists are behind the scenes. They're not out in front of a camera. They orchestrate everything. They make big money for being a publicist. You can get anybody to stand up there and read a script. That's nothing special at all. I mean, it's just not. It's not. You know how many people in their everyday lives, in the communities, at church, at libraries, and schools, you know how many just everyday people get up and have to talk and speak and lead meetings and stuff. That's not special. And they're there for a purpose. This is just, boy, anybody can stand there and do that. Really? Yeah, they could. Yeah. I've watched a lot of these. I think there's a lot of people who could do that. Yeah. I think there's just about a whole lot of people who could do that. Really well, actually. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Oh my gosh. Boy, I just have to sit back down. I tell you what, I just get too fired up about this stuff. Forget about the big stuff. Who cares? January, this, war, all that. Gosh, doesn't matter. All that other stuff is, God, this is important. This is really important. This is the most important thing right here. The most important thing right here. Because people listen to this stuff. At least officials do. Citizens don't hear this. People in Florida never heard this. Of course they didn't. They're not tuned into the spokesperson. I don't even know why they're talking about it. What did Governor Ron DeSantis say? That's what you need to look at. He's the governor. Well, I hear him talk quite a bit. He's pretty direct. I bet you he did better than this. Yeah, I bet he did. I heard him speak. I'm sure he did. I don't know if he was telling people to stay in your house when the flood comes. I just can't. I just couldn't hardly believe it. He's too professional. Well, he's a military man, for gosh sakes. An officer, an attorney. Of course he didn't. My goodness, he's competent. He's the governor and he does a good job. The people like him down there. He wouldn't be around if he did stuff like this. My gosh. Oh my goodness, I'll tell you. Oh my gosh. Well,
notices and finish your preparedness. The president and our entire administration are committed to supporting all communities impacted by the first.
I'm so sick of it. I'm just sick of it already. Our administration, she had to say it 2 or 3 times. My goodness. You know what? Gosh, a high school drama play would do a better job acting than this. Oh my gosh. I mean, they're far more talented, you know. Oh my gosh. They just are. It's a fact. It's not a slight. It's just a fact. They are more talented. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
We will be with you every step of the way, as we have been when we have to deal with these types of
we will be with you every step of the way, just like we have had. Oh my gosh. You know, it's not even O-U-I. That means yes in French. Oh my, is it the royal we? We? The royal we? Oh my gosh. I tell you what. I can't. Well, my gosh. I tell you what. It's just go, boy, oh boy. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
Disastrous situation, hurricanes, extreme weather. This is an administration that will be with this community from before it started, as you all know, from what you heard from the president earlier this week, and also the administrator after it hits, and we will be there until they are able to read.
Before, during, and after. We're there. You know, State Farm, the helping, whatever, they had a better logo, you know. Before, during, and after. What the heck? After doesn't matter. And during doesn't. What are you going to do during or after a hurricane? The only time that matters is before. Preparedness they're talking about. Oh my gosh. Preparedness. Prepared for what? I mean, my gosh. Prepared? I don't even know what that is. How do you prepare? What is preparedness? My gosh. Preparedness. Preparedness for, oh my gosh. I mean, oh my gosh. I don't even know what that means in this context.
With that, Administrator Criswell, welcome back.
Welcome back. Oh my gosh. Administrator Criswell. Administrator Criswell. You know what? It's just like when they call attorney generals. The attorney general, they call him general. General, they say. What the heck? I've heard that so many times. They say general, especially in the States. They just say that, general. It's attorney general, not general. It makes it sound like they're military. General. I was like, what the hell? I was like, who's in the uniform there? You know how many people say that? General? It's attorney general. That's the name. It's a title, attorney general. It's not a general. I've heard that so many times. Oh my gosh. I mean, it goes back to at least the George H.W. Bush administration, referring to Bill Barr. Yeah, Bill Barr. The first time he was the Attorney General. Yeah, he was Attorney General during George H.W. Bush, in case you forgot that. I know it seems like a long time ago, but he was. And he was. He came back. But that's all right. People say you got it. It's all right. But, that's the first time I ever heard it, though. They introduced this person, General. I was like, General. I couldn't wait to see who come out on the video. And out walks Bill Barr. I'm like, Bill Barr. I said, what does that, General? Oh, Attorney General, I said. Oh, my gosh. I'll tell you what. Oh, that was right at the collapse of the Berlin Wall, when he came out to talk about the peace benefit of all these FBI and federal people coming back from Europe and all this personnel, and well, they're not going to get any time off now. No, they were going to double down and redeploy all those people into the United States for the war on drugs. That's what the announcement was. That was the announcement. That's exactly what they said. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Big peacetime dividend of all these federal people coming back. Going to put them all into the country to fight drugs. That's what they're going to, and crime. Yeah. Some peacetime benefit, huh? Yeah. They're all. I don't know what they were all doing in Europe anyway. Well, I don't know what they were all doing over there in the first place. What were they all there for? FBI people and stuff. They're not soldiers. They weren't talking about soldiers. No, they were like a few hundred or something. It sounded like a big number. I don't know. I'm off on a tangent now, but oh my gosh, I'll tell you what.
All right, good morning, everybody, and thanks, Karin, and I'll just jump right in. I did just have an opportunity to brief the President on our current response efforts for Hurricane Idalia.
I just had an opportunity to brief the President. Now I'm standing out here? No. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the President, it's on behalf of the President, President Biden, blah, 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 blah. Not I briefed. Of course you briefed the President. That's your job, to brief. You don't make a decision. It's not your decision to make. The President decides. You work for the President of the United States. It's the President decided. Not I briefed the President. I'm going to tell you what I briefed him about. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I mean, where do these people come from? I mean, it's the President's responsibility, though. He picks these people. He does. It is. It's completely on the President. That's not this person. That's President Biden standing there. You got to remember that. Don't get caught up in thinking about this person. And since when do they dress like this? Look at how they're dressed, so casual. Who dressed? Look at that. They're talking before. They're standing at the podium. It says the White House. What are they doing? What kind of dress is that? I don't even know what that is. It says ready on it. Ready. Ready. And FEMA. It doesn't even have their name on it. I mean, how do you get to dress like that? You're the FEMA administrator. Why aren't they in formal attire? Come on. I mean, look how casual that is. I mean, that's really casual. You sports teams wear better uniforms than that. At least they're supposed to be wearing a uniform. Gosh, what happened to standards? I mean, really, what happened to the standards? Where'd they go? Gosh. It's not like these people don't know about Washington, for gosh sakes. I can't imagine they're newcomers. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Casual dress from the podium in the White House. It says the White House back there. Washington, it says. Yeah, the White House, it says. There's the American flag standing there. There, it says C-SPAN on here. I mean, gosh, you know what? Oh my goodness.
Which, as all of you know, made landfall early to just jump right.
With that, Administrator Criswell, welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back, like it's her house or something. Oh my gosh.
Everybody, and thanks, Karin, and I'll just...
Karin! What did she just say? Oh my God, I can't stand this casual thing. It's a disgrace. I mean, my goodness. I mean, isn't the president watching this happen right now? Aren't they concerned about how they're representing? Don't they understand that they're spokespeople for the president of the United States? I don't think they do. You think it was like some kind of corporate thing or something. It seems so. I mean, corporations are better than this. Well, you couldn't do this if you were a CEO? I mean, are you kidding me? They'd have the CEO of the corporation be out there talking. You wouldn't be dressed like that. Oh my goodness. It's, my gosh. Really. They don't have any responsibility in this. They do not. Because they don't make decisions. Neither one of these people are a decision maker at all. They don't make a single decision. The President of the United States makes the decision. Period. The end of the story. It's not about their opinion on anything. They are not decision makers. The President of the United States is the chief executive. They decide, period. They don't make a single decision. Not one. Not even whether to toast the bread or... It doesn't matter. They don't get to make a single decision. They sure don't. Not even if they're out in the field, they don't. It's the President of the United States wherever these people go. It's the President of the United States. Period. I mean, my God, just put a bag over their head. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's still the President of the United States, every place they go. And how often does the President get out and go places? I wonder. I don't really know for sure, but I'm not so sure. I have no idea. I really don't know. Like out there, in the fray, like a governor does. Governors, they got to go out there. Governors, they got to go out where the people are. I mean, people got to go to their community. I mean, don't they? Boy, I tell you what, I don't know. Gosh.
Opportunity to brief the president on our current response efforts for Hurricane Idalia, which, as all of you know, made landfall early this morning. While we were in there, the president contacted...
Early? It's already made landfall. It's already over, and they're out there now? It's over already. If it made landfall, the disaster's already happened. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. It's already happened. Yeah, like, you know what? Is this a 9 to 5 kind of thing or something, Why weren't they up there talking like yesterday afternoon or last night? I mean, why wasn't this beforehand? I mean, it's way off out there in the ocean. We got plenty of time to know it's coming. I mean, it's not like it's a surprise. It's not a tornado just dropping down out of the sky. You know the thing's coming. Like, why aren't they out? They can't even get out ahead of a hurricane, for gosh sakes. You got out, they can't even get out ahead of a hurricane. Oh my gosh. What, my goodness, they can't even get ahead of it. Can't get out in front of the a hurricane. Can't even get out in front of a hurricane. Oh my gosh. I tell you what. Mercy, mercy, mercy. Oh my goodness. I mean, come on. I mean, really? Really? It's nothing to laugh about. And it's nothing to make sport of either. No, of course it's not. It's a very serious situation. It's very serious. Not because of the hurricane. Because what is the chain of command? You know, there's a chain of command. It's the President of the United States. There's one stop. President, that's it. Everybody else below that doesn't matter. I don't care who you are, it doesn't matter. There's one thing, and it's not the buck stops here either. Oh no. One person's responsible. We have one president. That's it. The vice president doesn't even count. Yeah, they're just there in case something happens to the president. The president, that's it. Oh my gosh, I tell you what. Oh my gosh. My goodness, I tell you what. I can just so upset by this. I really am upset by this. Of course I am. I'm worrying about how many people were hurt. I mean, I can't even imagine how terrified people are. Who was there to help? I hope there was somebody there. Hurricanes are scary. I've been through them. I have. Of course I have. Floods too. It's scary. It's very scary. Boy, it's very scary. Oh my gosh. They can't get out in front of a hurricane in Florida and they're in Washington D.C. How is the president out ahead of a war in Europe? Can't get out in front of a hurricane. That's no insult. It's a question. It's an observation. Yeah. I mean, really. I mean, that's right here. You have plenty of time to know it's coming. And it's a natural phenomenon. It's a hurricane, but, oh my goodness.
Governor DeSantis to let him know that the federal family continues to be there to support him. The governor expressed...
The federal family! Oh my God. What is this? It's very obvious to me what it is. It's pretty obvious to me. And it has nothing to do with these individuals standing here. Although, somebody's responsible. Yeah, they are. They're responsible. There's a responsibility here. There are adults in the room that are responsible for this going on like this. There are. Yeah, the chief of staff. White House counsel. Yeah. The chief of staff and the White House counsel. Those are the two jobs. They're responsible. They have a duty to the president. That's why they're chief of staff and legal counsel. They have responsibilities to the president to give advice. And to be adults back there. Oh my gosh. And because of I think it's the 26th Amendment, the secretaries of the cabinet have a constitutional responsibility. They do. If they believe that the President of the United States, for whatever the reason, is not capable or able to serve or something, that's in the Constitution. They're responsible to the Constitution if they believe. It's a constitutional standard for the secretaries to make a determination that the president is not in a capacity to serve. And it doesn't have to mean out of office. It can be temporary. There's a whole process. It's in the Constitution. It is in the Constitution. They're responsible. The secretaries are. Yeah, the cabinet is responsible. They are responsible. And the last time I checked, I don't think the CIA director is part of the sworn. I don't think they're part of the cabinet, really. I don't think they really are. I don't think that position counts. I don't know how the CIA director became a secretary in the cabinet, but that's what I heard anyway. I heard that. I don't think that's not the same as attorney general and treasurer. No, they're not. No, that's a director of the CIA. They're not a member of the cabinet. They can't be. They might sit in the room, but I think I heard an announcement. Oh my goodness.
That all of his needs are met currently. The president reiterated that If anything is needed from the federal government, we will be able to support, and we have over 1,000 personnel currently deployed, prepared to support not just Florida, but all of our states that are in the path as needed.
All of our states, you know what? I mean, I know the press corps sitting there. I know those people. Many of them sat there through a lot of presidents, okay? They got to be all sitting there thinking like I am. They must be. They don't speak up, of course, because that's not what they do, but they got to be sitting there wondering, I mean, really, I can't imagine what's going on in their head. Oh my goodness, no wonder. I mean, just check it out. I mean, you can look at just look. I've heard on, whatever. There's not a lot of confidence out here. There's a lot of people, the people are little like, what's going on? What's happening? Because they don't care what these people say. Nobody in the country cares. I don't care what they have to say. Neither does anybody else. They want to hear from the President of the United States, period. That's the President. That's all. These people don't even matter. Neither do any of the secretaries. Neither does the Attorney General. Neither does anybody. The American people do not want to hear from anybody but the President of the United States, period. That's it. Yeah. Do you think moms and dads in the community would come out to a Little League game and have their boys and girls go out and play a game if there wasn't a coach right there? You think they would? And umpires too. You think they would? I don't think so. Of course not. Oh my gosh. I'll tell you what. Oh my God. It's really hard for me to listen to this. Because I keep thinking about, gosh, the thing's already hit land. I'm thinking like, well, my gosh, why aren't they reporting on the damage then? Why aren't they reporting about the damage? I mean, it's like, gosh, they should be talking. I mean, gosh.
While I was in there, the president also directed me to travel immediately into the area, and I will be traveling later this afternoon.
Listen to that. Oh my gosh. You know what? Boy, I tell you what. I know Joseph Robinette Biden. He's been in that Senate a long time, all right? Yes, since 1972 he was elected. He's been a senator from 1972 all the way until January of 2009, because he ran for Senate, even though he's still running and he didn't resign his Senate seat until he got sworn in as vice president. So he served as senator right up until he got sworn in as vice president. Now, I know Joe Biden knows how to talk. He does. He knows how to talk. He sure does. He knows. He does know. Of course he knows. He might not be doing it, but I know he knows. Sure he knows. I would hope so. He has to know. It can't even be a question, you see. That's the whole problem. Why? I mean, that I'm even here like saying to myself, well, that's the problem. That's it. It's simple. It's that simple. I had said here, well, that's the problem right there. That's it. No more. You don't got to go talk about anything else. You don't have to talk about another single thing. That's it. The whole thing. That's it. All of it. The people in the United States feel like I do right now. Who's like, what? Well, yeah. That's it. It's not anything else. No, I don't care whose president it is. They're still discussing past presidents. Well, well, that's all policy anyway, and whatever, This matters right here. This matters. This means a lot to these people. I mean, I'm sitting here like, that's the administrator. They're not on the ground either. Why is she standing there then? Why is he already gone? He should already be there. You remember what happened to George W. Bush over the Katrina thing? You remember that? He was the helicopter over the thing. Oh my goodness. You remember that? Oh gosh. That was, wow. The people were like, oh, he got a lot of flack, rightfully so. What do you mean you're flying over it? Oh my God, he was flying over it. Got flack for that. Rightfully so. Why are you flying over it? Why is that? Why aren't you there on the ground? Boy, I tell you what. Oh my gosh, I'll tell you what. Oh my goodness. I tell you what. I tell you, oh my gosh. You know what? The executive power is Article 2, okay? It is Article 2. Article 1 is the Congress. The legislative authority shall be vested in the Congress. The executive authority shall be, Congress. What's Congress doing? I mean, come on. Forget about all the other stuff. Who cares about all the... That's just political wrangling. What about this? Right? Just this right here. Why aren't... Really? You mean they're not wondering? The Speaker of the House is the number 3rd person to be president. I mean, why hasn't... I mean, come on. The Speaker of the House is number 3. President, Vice President, Speaker. I mean, come on. Can you imagine the current Speaker becoming President of the United States? Are you kidding me? Really? I mean, really? Come on. Really? What Speaker holds a vote and loses? But, I mean, come on. Oh, my goodness. I know there was one vote. They were short. Who has a vote when... What Speaker of the House has a vote and they're short and it doesn't win? And then votes on it a few days later. I mean, my gosh, they have to... Oh, my goodness. I tell you what, no wonder. You know what? I understand completely. It's so simple. It's not complicated. It really isn't. It's not about anything. It's about this right here. This is it. It's not about the Senate. It's not about members of the House. It's not. It's about that Speaker, though, because they're number 3. It's not even about Kamala Harris, because we already know that the Vice President's just there in case something goes wrong, you know. It's the one job you get that nobody really hopes you ever have to do anything. I mean, oh my... And most presidents don't even consult their vice presidents anyway. They really don't. If you really know, they really don't. I don't know what they do. They have I know they have 2 offices. No, they have an office in the West Wing, but their real office is over in the Eisenhower Executive Office building. I mean, I don't know when they put the vice president in the West Wing exactly, but I'm not sure about that. But I don't know when that happened exactly, but it doesn't matter when it happened because it doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter. I mean, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I tell you what, it's just too much for me. It's too much. It's too much. And we've had 3 years. I mean, look at how long this has been going on.
To join Governor DeSantis tomorrow to do assessments and see firsthand what the impacts from this storm are, and I can be able to report back to the president exactly.
Oh my God! Did you hear that? I'm going to go down and do assessments and then bring the assessments back. Boy, you know, you go see a doctor and they assess you right there, you know? I mean, they have a situation room. They do. They sure do. Like, why aren't they? I mean, they do. I mean, of course they do. I mean, my goodness, you can't use the situation room for a hurricane battle station or something. I mean, come on. Not even a picture of the president in the situation room monitoring the hurricane or something. Come on. I mean, at least you could take some still photos. At least it could be, in a room and people sitting around, you could do that. I mean, that would look really good, it would look good. They usually don't run film down there, but they do take photos down there. That would be nice. I mean, they can't even go to enough effort. They do this. And you know what? At least if they did that, it'd look good, I mean, come on, really. I mean, at least it would. I mean, come on. I mean, really, it would look good. At least they'd be sitting in the situation room. I mean, I remember President Trump being in the situation room. I do. I remember President Obama being in the situation room. I remember George W. Bush being in the situation room. I'm not sure about Bill Clinton, maybe I'm getting a little far back to remember, but come on. I remember Obama, definitely. I remember Trump, too, being in the Situation Room. Well, you saw President Trump, I do know that. And you did see Obama, too, and George W. Bush. You did see them. They were out. May not agree with what they're doing, but they were out anyway. They were out there. They're on the job anyway. You're not on the job as President of the United States sitting in the Oval Office. Because that's just the Oval Office. That's the ceremonial office, It really is. The executive office of the president is over in the executive office building. That's just the formal office. Oh my gosh. There's not even supposed to be paperwork on that Resolute desk. There isn't. Not if there's a picture taken of it. No, there's not supposed to be papers out on it. Because you're not supposed to be sitting there working. Not really. No, not really. Not supposed to have papers out on there. You're not. My goodness. Oh my gosh. What are they going to do? Are they going to be literally rolling up their sleeves or something? I don't know, but I can't imagine.
Exactly what I see, what we think the needs might be, and where the federal family can continue to assist.
Federal family.
Before I touch more on Hurricane Idalia, I also want to address the second reason that I am here at the White House today. Today I will also join President Biden alongside his cabinet and agency officials who are supporting the response and the recovery efforts on the ground.
I will be joining the president and his cabinet officials alongside them. Oh my God. You know what? This says it all to me. This is it. There's nothing more to say. This was August 30th of last year. Imagine how many other instances of this there are. More than you could ever want to watch. I'm just sure of it. This is just, it's still 3 minutes. 3 minutes and 38 seconds. And this video's in an hour. I'm that outraged. Can you imagine all the others? Of just like this. This is it. This is all you need. This is everything. This is it. Don't get into the policy stuff. That's too many people disagree with that stuff. This matters. They say it all. The federal family, we, us, our. Come on. Is it Sesame Street? I don't know. Gosh, it's like an episode of Sesame Street or something. I'm expecting Big Bird, Bert and Ernie. I don't know. Is Count Chocula going to come out in a minute? I don't know. I don't know. That's what it seems like. It seems like an episode of Sesame Street or something. That's really what it seems like to me. It sounds like.
In Hawaii, as we continue to help the people of Maui rebuild and recover over the long term. This whole of government approach is what is needed to get the right resources.
Listen to this language. Whole of government. It sounds like an NGO or something to me. Whole of government. What is that? Whole of government approach. What is the whole of government? I don't even know what that means. That means nothing. That doesn't mean anything. No, it doesn't. That's not how we talk about the government in the United States. It's not. We never have. They can't just decide to talk about it like that. It's not for them to decide. They don't get to talk like this. No, it's not it's not theirs to do as they want. It belongs to we the people. It's our White House. It's our podium. That's our flag. All of us, we the people. They're doing a job. They're a hired hand. They are a hired hand. Might as well, really, I'm a hired hand. I don't have any problem with that. I'm hired to do a job. I do a job. I'm a worker. I work. Everybody, I don't care who you are. Be a CEO. You do got to do work. CEOs, you got to work. You do got to work. Oh my gosh. Yeah, just listen to RuPaul. You got to work. Oh my gosh, I tell you what. Yeah, RuPaul knows you got to work.
Resources to the people of Maui, the resources and the assistance that they need and that they deserve. Now back a little bit to what we know so far on Hurricane Idalia. While it is still too soon to assess the total damages, we know that the storm made landfall as a Category 3, which means over 120 mile per hour winds and up to 10 inches of rain in some areas. Peak storm surge in some places along the coast. It has peaked right now, but it could surpass once they measure over 15 feet of storm surge.
You see how cold this is like. Boy, your medical doctor can't even talk to you like this. Of course not. They said nothing. That's so non-specific. It could be that. What do you mean? Are people drowning? Are they dead? How many dead are there? How many injured are there? How many structures have been? I mean, my goodness. I know they have plenty of drones. I know they got plenty of drones. They got drones. They fly into hurricanes even. I mean, I know they got drones. I know they could. I mean, I know they do. Surely I know they do. I mean, why isn't it how many structures, how many trees, how many things, like how many wounded, what are the number of shelters, where are the shelters at? The Red Cross is on the ground. I mean, medical people have been deployed. I mean, the National Guard's been called out. I mean, come on. I am just sad. I am so sad. Pissed off, but sad for the people down there. I don't know, for God's sake. My goodness. Gosh. It doesn't matter what happens somewhere else in the world. It only matters to the American people what happens here in the United States of America. The 50 states. That's really it. It is. I know we have other places and stuff, but that's really it. Yeah, that's it. That's all we care about. That's all we care about. The 50 United States. That's it. It's called the United States of America. That's all we care about. We don't care about other places in the world. We really don't. We don't. People don't. No, of course we don't. We're busy doing our work. We don't have time to think about what's over there, whatever that is. Yeah. The United States of America, it's a big place. It's a big place, this 48 states. It's big. I don't know if you realize how big it actually is. Did you know you could take the Mediterranean Ocean, and if you put the Straits of Gibraltar in California, did you know the Mediterranean Sea would go clear across the entire United States, and you wouldn't get to Turkey, would be short of the Atlantic Ocean even. There'd still be room to go. Yeah, there would be. And that doesn't even take up the whole United States. Just a comparison of scale here. Think about that. The entire Mediterranean Sea would fit between California and not even go all the way through Maryland. I mean, my goodness. That's how big the United States is. It's a big place. It's a very big place. Not as big as Africa is, though, for God. And we say Africa. I forgot how many nation states there are. It's not Africa, it's all these countries. I mean, Africa, well, God, that's a huge place, for God's sakes. It's really big down there. Oh, my gosh.
We'll get exact numbers as they're able to go in and assess what the total storm surge was. And in fact, Idalia is the strongest storm to hit this part of Florida, to make landfall in this part of Florida in over 100 years.
You know what? My gosh, a 6th grader giving a book report has to do better than this. I mean, come on. A 6th grader would give a better book report than this. At least they'd have to read the book and do the work and know about it. They wouldn't have to know. They'd have to read the story and think about it and analyze it and have something to say. They're not even giving any numbers. You know what it's like? It's like they're reading out of some kind of you'd think Chat GPT or AI printed this out or something. You'd think they talked in the computer. Okay, AI, tell me about the hurricane or something. It's what it sounds like. But heck, the AI does better than this. Quicker even. They could just read that out. They could just put up a big screen and ask the AI thing a question and it put out a bigger answer than this. And heck, now they say it does video even. So I don't know. They could say, hey, conjure me up a video of the hurricane or something. Oh my gosh. I mean, my goodness. I've already forgot this person's name. It doesn't matter. Here, just do this. It doesn't matter. They don't matter. They don't matter. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter who they are. Just put a bag over their head.
But FEMA and the entire Biden-Harris administration, we were prepared and we were ready to support the needs of this storm.
The needs of the storm! The needs of the storm? Do you see this thing that's going on? They don't mean to do it this way. I know they don't. They're sincere. I know this person is sincere. I know they're serious. I know they are, because I know they care. They do. I know they do. She's a woman. I know she cares. She might have children, but whatever. I know she cares. She doesn't even realize what she's saying, how it comes across. It doesn't have an idea about it even. There's just there's something that's happened. Pandemic, I don't know what it is. Something's happened. Lots of people talk like this. A lot of people do. I've heard it in a lot of places. I have. So it's, I'm not questioning them. I'm not saying they're lying or, whatever. It's not a ruse, But that's what's so dangerous about it. They don't even realize how they're coming across. That's the real problem. It is, and they're not bad people either. Of course not. She's very sincere. I know she cares. Of course she does. But I don't think she has any idea. Well, I don't think she understands how the words are coming out of her mouth. The needs of the storm, she says. Storms don't have needs. People have needs. You see what it is? You can't beat her up because no, she's not incompetent. No. There's something going on. That's not the only person. I've heard plenty of people talk like this. I have. A lot of people. In a lot of places. Just tune in on YouTube and watch a few videos. Yeah, you'll hear stuff like this. You will. Yeah, you will. You see, it's standards is what it is. There's a way that things have always been done. Like, I remember Richard Nixon. I do. Myself, I do. I remember him going to China. So I know I have memories of all the presidents from Nixon going to China clear up to today. I've heard a lot of this. I know that this is a problem. This is the problem right here. This is the problem. It's not about a war or policy or politics. That goes on all the time and will go on. That'll never stop, okay? We do that in our families or whatever. Okay, fine. This is the thing right here. This is it. There's something going on here. This is why we've a pandemic and all that, and we never come out, and then we hear this stuff and whatever. You can't even get the news anymore. I'm watching this at C-SPAN. I don't even know how you'd watch this, actually, if you're a person somewhere. I can't watch the news at my house. I can't. There's no cable TV even. You don't turn on cable TV and tune into the news or program. It's all on the internet now. I don't know what you don't do. I don't know what you don't do if you don't have a page. I don't know how you would know anything. I don't know anything. What do I know, really? I don't know. I don't know. How would I know? You can't turn on a cable TV. You can't turn on a TV and know that the news is going to come on or a special bulletin or something. You can't. And as we just found out this past week, AT&T, your cell phones didn't work. People were freaking out. Like, they said, a fire department said, yeah, it's not working. Call us on a landline. Yeah, they actually said that. Somebody said that. Somebody or somewhere. Call on a landline. That's what they said. On a landline, nobody has one. Who would say that? That shows you something. See, it's just everywhere. These are a nice gadget. We call it a phone, but nobody talks on it. No, we don't. Boy, it's about like Spock's tricorder almost. Yeah, and it seemed like computer at least knew more than this does. You can't even, oh my gosh. You see what I'm saying? I really, come on. We got to stop this, like, be mean to people. It's not, you can't do that. This is very serious. It's so serious. It's very serious. Just the lives and people, and my gosh, you have to have, my gosh, we can't live our lives in this country talking to a box thing in our hand. We can't live that way. We can't do that. At least during the pandemic, we had things in our houses and stuff. Well, it was hard, but everybody did it together, you see. We all learned how to be online, all these things. We did that together, you see. But my gosh, that was March of 2020. It's 4 years later now. It seems like we're all still doing it, though. Why are we still doing it? I mean, why? I mean, my goodness. We all had active, busy lives. Before March of 2020, we all had to go indoors. It was hard to do that. But we got through it together, you see. We did. President Trump, I'll tell you what, boy, he was boom, boom, boom. By the end of you go back and look. The bills they put through right away. Money right away. Just, yeah, of course they did. It was, of course they did. Immediately. My goodness, yes they did. My gosh. Right away. It was shocking. Plus the death and all everything else. And the whole world did that together. Well, what about now, you see? Boy, I'll tell you what. Just tune into some videos of other places in the world. Go look at some videos of life in India right now. The train and just everyday life in India. No, don't look at news. No, go on YouTube and find some videos of just a story about India or a story about not war and fighting, but just, just how people are living their life, You'll be surprised. You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked to see. Look at some from Australia and let me just look how they're living their life. They're all engaged in their lives. Like, they're all trains and busy, out people together, out, doing stuff. We're not doing that in the United States. No, we are, but, oh gosh. I'll tell you what. That's not somebody's fault, It's not. It's not. But we elect a president in the United States. The president is responsible. Period. Constitutionally. That's it. Nobody else named in the Constitution. No, it just says the executive authority. It's really all it says. Maybe you've got to look at it real close. There's no cabinet people mentioned in there. Heck, for the court, it just says a chief justice and other associate justices. It doesn't even say how many, and there's no rules either in there. No, Congress had to pass the Judiciary Act. There is not even in there. That was an afterthought, really. Oh, we got to have all judges. Oh, okay, I think so. Come on. My gosh. September 17th, 1789. That's the founding of this nation. The day the Constitution was in force, September 17th, 1789, and we don't even celebrate the founding of the country. 4th of July is not the founding of the country. September 17th, 1789 is. Ronald Reagan, boy, he did that. Warren Burger headed up the big committee thing they had. Special deal to celebrate the bicentennial of the Constitution. That's the only time we've ever celebrated it. Ronald Reagan did that. He did. To some controversy even. We don't even celebrate the founding of our nation. We don't. It's not the 4th of July. That's not the birth of the country. It's not. The United States of America didn't exist on July 4th. It didn't exist until September. We hadn't even won the revolution yet, for God's sakes, or Civil War. We didn't even exist yet. Oh my gosh. Well, here you go. This is what you get. This is what we get for ourselves. It's we the people are ultimately responsible for this. We can't even blame it on the president. No, we're responsible. We the people are. It's our responsibility to take care of this. It's obvious that Congress will not. So we the people, we're the ultimate authority in this country, because it says we the people at the top. So it says we the people. We're responsible. The Constitution is subservient to us, the people. And then the president and those people work under that. We're the authority, not the Constitution. It's just gone on for so long. My gosh, other sovereign nations celebrate the dates of the founding of their nations, their constitutions. That's what they celebrate around the country and other countries around the world. We don't here. That ought to say something. Yeah, it really should say something. Yeah, it should. Not that any of us are responsible for that, but we sure have a responsibility to do something about it, though, in a nice, constructive way. Of course we do. That's the wonderfulness of it. Because we, the people, can just do something about it in a calm way. We can't wait for Congress. No, we got to stop talking about this. Elections, no, gosh. No, we need to speak up. We, the people, are in charge. We need to do this now. We do. Not that these candidates, no, I'm not putting anybody down. It's not electing anybody. It's not on taking a side. It's we, the people, need to make our voices known in a way. Like, we, the people, we can do this. We can. We're not having a revolt or anything. Just we, the people. It's the only way we can get out of this problem. Because we're responsible. We, the people, are. And we don't have to wait for an election. That is, my gosh, that's way down the line. The authority, the sovereign authority of the United States of America rests in we, the people. That's where the sovereign authority is. In we, the people. It's not even in the Constitution. It is, but it's at the very beginning. It is. It is. It is. It's the only way out of this problem. We can't, gosh, we're hitching our, gosh, boy, what are we doing? My gosh. We can't hitch the wagon to a horse that don't work anymore. We forgot. Yeah, we're the horse. We're pulling the cart here. We're not riding in the cart. No, we're the horse. We are. We the people are the horse. We gotta get out there and trot around a little bit, I think. It's just still February. Yeah, the focus can't be on. Now, I'm not saying taking anything away from these candidates. That I know they're working on. I'm not saying that. It's not that. It's not that. No, they need to do what they're going to do and do their thing. I know it's not. They're not. But you know what? I know this. I know this much. There are individuals who are candidates for the highest office in this land. There's more than one. There are. There's a few, actually. There are a few. Yeah, I don't know. I think 4 or 5 or 6. They are. There are. What? There's several of them. So it's not about that. We're not stepping on them. No, but we the people need to step up ourselves here. Yes, self-organize ourselves. We can do this. We have to do this. And I'll tell you what. Of those individuals who are potentially candidates for this office of president, I'll tell you what, you would know which ones really are wanting to serve the people, wouldn't you? It would demonstrate that, wouldn't it? Yeah. Which candidates would be willing to give enough space for we the people to sort of, take it away from the pundits and the media and even the candidates? Because there's still going to be candidates. I think it would be really interesting to just see the response, wouldn't it? I think it would. Do you have enough time to just give a little bit of space to we the people? I don't know even how you do this. I have no idea. But I think it can be done. I've seen it. I think it can be, actually. I really think it can. I think it's the only thing that's going to work. Can't be a long drawn out thing either. No opinion polling either. No, we can't. No, you know what? I heard somebody. You know what? I heard this person. They're like one of these, I don't know, guru people. They talk about, coach or whatever, life coach or something like that. I heard somebody talking. They had, I forgot how many people they said. They said they had this technology where they had, I don't know, tens of thousands of people all online at once or something. I mean, around the whole world. I mean, that's what they said. I didn't see it. I just saw a video about it. I can believe that. I think so. Talking about how they did this. Yeah, they did talk about that. Of course. That's a good use of this device we have in our hand. We all can do that. You don't need no special software or anything. We don't need that. It's not a town hall or something. I don't know, but I think so. We have to remind ourselves, this is not a competition for politicians and the media. It's not. We, the people, need the space to bring this place back, put that document where it belongs, under we, the people. And let all of we know Congress is broken. We know this politics is broken. We know that's all broken. We know that. We know it doesn't work at all. They all know it. Of course they all know it. Yes, they know it. All of them do. Yes, they all do. There's none of them say, oh, I love the way this works. I know not a single one of them would. So why are we got to pretend? Yeah, it's not like we like it or don't. It don't matter what we like. It is what it is, but we can't keep going down the same road, though. You got to be disruptive. You know what got to be? You have to be emergent. Something emergent is what we need. That'd be really emergent. That's never happened before. We never have done that. There never has been anything spontaneously sort of emergent. Somehow. And we have the technology now to do it. And we're all used to being here. It's one good thing about this time we've had. We've all been more communicative on our devices. We've got some good stuff with that, we do. But it can't be the candidates organizing it. It can't be the Congress. It can't be. Can't be governors doing it either. No, it can't be. Can't be county people either. I don't know. I don't know. I not that I know how. I can't say I know how, but I think I think that's something. I think so. This can't go on. It won't work. It's already broken. It is. Just look at it. Oh, my gosh.
As I mentioned, we have actually over 1,500 federal responders that are on the ground in the affected area. This includes over 300 personnel from FEMA, as well as over 500 urban search and rescue personnel ready to support any of the state's requests. As of 7:30 this morning, and I know these numbers are dynamic and fluid, but as of 7:30 this morning, there are nearly 300,000 customer outages for power in Florida, and we do expect those numbers to continue to rise as the storm passes through and goes into Georgia.
Oh my God, do you see this? I mean, look at this. See, this is it right here. I hadn't seen this yet. I hadn't seen this. I started this recording. I hadn't watched this yet. No. I mean, this, right here. I mean, really, this is it. Just listen to this.
And we'll see power outage numbers for Georgia, South Carolina, and perhaps North Carolina. Our partners at the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers are pre-positioned to support power restoration, and they have over 30 generators that are pre-staged. Additionally, the utilities are preparing for
30 generators for 300,000 and more outages. I don't know what that means. This person doesn't know either, and she has no idea. She's reading something somebody gave her. She's reading this. She's reading a script. She didn't write this. Somebody handed this to her, and I'm sure she's doing her best to read from this. She doesn't know what this says, really. I know she doesn't. Somebody handed this and said, this is what you're going to read. I know that. I do know that. But it doesn't matter who handed it. It's Joseph Robinette Biden, the President of the United States, standing there. When's the last time he came in the briefing room? When's the last time he was in the briefing room? I know Donald Trump came into the briefing room. I do. Barack Obama did too. They all have. I don't know the last time President Biden was standing in that podium. I don't know. I don't know if he ever has or not. I don't even know. I don't even know the last time I saw him give something from the White. I mean, he doesn't even speak from sitting at the desk, the Resolute desk, I don't think. He's always standing at some podium somewhere. Why is that? Why is that? If the president addresses the nation, they sit at the Resolute desk and do it. I mean, come on. Don't they? Yes. Yes, they do.
Storm impacts, including pre-staging crews and equipment outside of the projected storm track. And the state anticipates a total...
Outside the projected... Why would you stage stuff outside of the... Why outside? Well, you're all on your own, then, is what it's saying. That's all right for Laverne and Shirley. You're gonna make it after all. Yeah, that's great for Laverne and Shirley. That's a sitcom, you know. That don't work for me. It doesn't work anymore. We can't be on our own anymore. That's the problem. Yeah. Everybody feels like they're on their own, so they're going to do their own thing and do their own deal and do their own thing. Everybody's just doing their own thing because they don't have a choice. They got to do their own thing. It's called I got to survive. So I can't wait anymore. I got to do what I got to do. So we have all these people just doing what they need to do to survive. That's all. They're not bad for that. Thank God they are doing it. Yeah, because there's a whole lot more of us than there are these people. We're going to get another president. We are. Well, somebody's going to be it. Yeah, in November. We all know that. Can we make it to November, though? How long can we make it on our own? I don't know. That's called chaos. It's just people surviving. Because we're going to do what we got to do to take care of ourselves and our family. We can't wait anymore. We haven't waited in a long time. Of course we haven't.
Of about 30,000 to 40,000 linemen in Florida to begin to assist in the power restoration efforts. People that are still in the storm's path, however, as you heard from Karin, they should not venture out into the storm and remain sheltering in place if your local officials are telling you to do so. However, if you are in trouble and you need immediate assistance, please call 911.
Call 911, she says. Now, I'm in my house, a big wall of water's coming. Call 911. Call 911. The towers are down. You can't call. I mean, come on. Yeah. I just happened to be in New York City. I think it was, I don't know, 2021, September or something. There's a storm came into New York. I forgot. I know something, some little thing. Yeah, I did. I was. Boy, whatever. I lived on the 8th floor of a building. I thought, oh yeah, whatever. Okay, whatever. 8th floor of a building. My power went out. The elevators went out. Yeah, the power went out and the elevators even went out. The elevators went out in my building. A 16-story building. Had the elevators go out in it. I had to go up and down stairs for 2 or 3 days, 8 flights. Yeah, I did. Who would have thought? Nobody would have. I forgot how deep the water was in places at Broadway and 125th Street. I think it was 4 feet deep down in there. Yeah. In the middle of yeah. Nobody had ever seen it before. People's doors and apartments busted in on the basement level. People died and drowned. Who would have thought? Yeah. What do they do? You see, this is...
As you do go out, do not wade in the water. Do not drive through.
Wait, if you go out, don't wade in water. Yeah, of course you got to wade in the water. How are you going to get out? It's a flood. Oh my gosh. Don't they know the story of Noah's Ark or anything? I mean, come on. Oh my gosh. Don't wade in the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Yeah, of course we're going to wade in the water. We don't have a choice. Yeah, what am I going to do? You know what? No wonder. You know what? No wonder. I mean, I've seen some pretty bewildered looking people. I have, when I think about it. I have, actually. Sort of like just standing like bewildered. Like people just talking like, oh, the water just, like, it's like, well, maybe they don't know about a hurricane. Not everybody's been through a hurricane. They don't know what to expect. You know, they just don't know. You can't call 911. Are you kidding me? We just had this problem. They said, don't call 911, they said. You're overwhelming the system, they said. My goodness. You know, it's really basic. It's so basic. That's it, really. See, this is it. It's very basic, you see. It's basic. It's not complicated. I don't live a complicated life. Neither does anybody else who's got to live every day, go to work. We can't live complicated lives. We're not on our phones all the time. We got to work, for God's sakes. Of course we do. I mean, you got to put that phone in your pocket. Of course we do. You got to work. I mean, come on. Oh my gosh. I'll tell you what. My goodness.
Flooded roads and streets. Just remember, turn around, don't drown. Unfortunately, we see so many fatalities after the storm passes. We want to make sure that everybody is taking the right precautions to keep.
Do you hear this? You see what this is? I see this in lots of places, okay? It's not just this person. I see signs on buildings even. I do. I say to myself, that's a really odd wording, like on this thing. Like, you read this stuff and you're like, what does that just say? Well, I'm not sure how they're, really. I have. Like, what does that really mean?
Keep themselves safe. And as always, please continue to listen to your local officials as this storm continues to.
How do we listen to local officials? There's no way to do that, you see. There isn't. I can't listen to the local officials right now on my cell phone. There's no way to do that. You can't. You can't listen to local officials. You think we could, right? We have this thing in our hand. We can pay money and watch a live concert on them, right? We can. A race or something clear around the globe. We can. Pay for it on an app. Yeah, you can, actually. Yeah. I can get on an app and interact with people playing a game or something like that. I can go to a class and interact with people. I can, learn. I can do all those things. I can't hear from my government officials, though. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's not possible anywhere in the country. It's not possible. Why don't we have an app on our phone? Listen to that emergency alert thing. Why don't we have a civil defense app right on our phone so that a person comes on there, you see their face. Hi, this is your people, whatever. You can see it and hear it. Why don't we have that on our phone like we should? So I know it's official. This is the special thing. It comes on or flash or something. Oh, this is important. You see a person, you hear from them, and you know who they are. Why not? Why don't we? Nobody should have to feel like they're on their own. They have the technology to know where everything is already, including me, for God's sake. They know I'm in my house, don't they? I think they do. It's not a complicated thing. It's not. This technology is a tool. That's all it is. A tool. like any other tool. Ask somebody who works with their hands and tools for a living. It's just a tool. That's all this is in our hand. It's a powerful tool. It is a powerful tool. That's all it is, a tool. That's it. In fact, the clothes I wear is more important than that, because you can't go outside naked. We know you got to get dressed, you know. Clothes are a tool, for gosh sakes. So is this device I have. If you could feel like it was reliable, if you feel like you could really have one. Yeah. Why is it so expensive? It's a tool. The airwaves belong to the federal government, you know. Belong to us, we the people. You have to have a license to broadcast. You do. Corporations don't own the waves. No, they established that under the Roosevelt administration. The first time they had the FCC, that's the whole point of the FCC. They didn't even know what the whole thing was going to be, but they knew they had to have it. So we own that. We the people own the airwaves. It's ours. It doesn't belong to the technology companies. We're kind enough to allow them to have a device that uses the airwaves that we own. We own the utility cables because the government has to consent to run the cables even. We have to consent to that. We own everything. Verizon doesn't own the cables. Of course not. They run it over public domain. They have to get an easement for that stuff and pay for it. It belongs to us. It's a privilege to be able to sell these devices that use the airwaves. And the airwaves go to a tower, and that tower is mounted on a building. They had to get an easement for that. And then there's the cable that runs from that. We own everything. Gosh, you know, we the people, well, I'll tell you what, I know this, we're going to be here. Of course we're going to be here. We're going to outlive everybody. All these people, they're just elected officials. They serve. That's it. Of course they are. Yeah, we're always going to be here. We've been here since September 17, 1789. As far as I know, we're not going to be going away either. No, we're still all here. We always will be. We always will be. Of course we will be. Of course we will be. And we own it all. It all belongs to us. We the people. It all belongs. It's not this land is your land, this land is my land. What a hokey thing is that? No, it's not this is mine, that's yours. No, it belongs to all of us. All of it belongs to all of us. Every bit of it belongs to all of us. It does. It doesn't belong to the state. No, it belongs to all of us, we the people. Of course it does. Oh, I tell you what, it's really sad.
Over Georgia currently and into South Carolina. Please check on your friends and your family and your loved ones, especially older adults and people living with disabilities, to see if they have any needs.
You do it. You check. You check. Your responsibility. No, it's not my responsibility to check on myself. For gosh sakes, a parent goes to jail if they leave their kids alone. Parents can't say to their children, oh, you take care of yourself now, I'm going to go off, you know. Of course not. Of course not.
In closing, I just want to remind people that this is still very much an active situation. Remnants of the storm are still affecting Florida as we speak. The storm is over Georgia and moving into South Carolina. People there and in the Carolinas will continue to experience impacts throughout the day today and possibly into the weekend. Again, FEMA is well postured with our federal partners to support Floridians during this time of need and stands ready to support.
Well postured to support Floridians? Well, what about the Georgians and everyone? Oh my God. What is a Floridian? What the hell is that? I mean, a Floridian? No, I mean, my gosh. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. You know what? This goes on with governors too, though. It goes on everywhere. Everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It is. It's ubiquitous. Savoir-faire is everywhere. It is everywhere. So it's not. It's everywhere. It is. It's no respecter of a person. This thing that's going on, whatever it is. No, it's everywhere. It really is. It is. And it's not the pain. It's what it is. That's all. We don't have to have it diagnosed. No, we sure don't. No.
Other affected states as needed. With that, I can take any questions.
Thank you. Administrator, what are you most concerned about over the next day or two, since you just said it's too early?
Administrator, what are you Administrator? Administrator? I mean, Spock would say, oh, computer. I mean, administrator, what are you concerned about? No. What is the president? The president, not the administrator. I mean, look at his face. I mean, look at their faces. I mean, just look. I mean, I can't think of his name right now, but just look at him. He's looking at her like, I mean, he's like, interested to see what she might ask, because I'm sure he doesn't have a question yet. Because, well, what kind of question are you going to ask? How hard a job do these folks have? Has anybody said thank you to these people? Can you imagine? I've been railing on forever about here, and I'm just on a rant. And they're professional people. They got to sit there and they got to formulate some kind of polite kind of question to this mess. Boy, that's really hard on their part, because they have to be polite. You know what I mean? You know, they have a hard. Look at how nicely they're all dressed. I mean, come on. You know, it's the professional press corps. These are professional people. Every person in there has credentials. They do. They're all professional. They know who they work for, too. They're working.
Right now to assess the extent of damage in Florida?
Yeah, my biggest concern is those people who chose not to evacuate, and I know that our local first...
My concern is those who chose not to evacuate. She just said earlier, stay in your house, don't go out. Now she's saying, my concern is the people who did evacuate. Do you see what I'm saying? You see what this is? This is nothing to blame on anybody. It is not. It's not about any controversy that you read about. It isn't. It's not about Europe, Ukraine, war, January. No, it's not about any of those things. It can't be about that. Those are just politics and whatever. Oh my gosh, politics. Yeah, well, we know one thing. Buyer beware. Politicians are the biggest liars there are. Let's just say it. Fine, we all know that. So stop pretending like they know something. Just stop pretending. It's fine. We all know it. Yeah, so what? Yeah. Don't believe what a politician says any single time. We all know that. Of course, everybody knows that. You can't believe politicians. They're going to say whatever they're going to say. You know, whatever. That's part of the deal. We know that already. What are you doing? That's what I want to know. I don't see a lot going on.
Responders, the heroes that are out there in those local communities are doing an amazing job already of going into the areas where people did not evacuate and helping to get them to safety.
Did you hear this? Do you hear this? Like, this is not even logic. I mean, this is not like, this is nonsensical. I mean, Dr. Seuss, green eggs and ham. I'm a silly rhyming thing, but it made sense, you know. It does. This makes no sense. It's not, it just doesn't. See how it contradicts itself? I mean, there's something going on here. There is something going on. I don't know what to call it. I'm not going to call it anything. It sure can't stop blaming it on the pandemic. That's just an excuse. It's not. That's behind us. Look at the other places in the world. They've moved way on past all of this. They're out on trains and doing things and riding and bicycling and everything. I've seen it. I know they are. In other places around the world, they sure are. I know they are. I've seen it. I have seen it. In Atlanta, Georgia, at the airport, just take a look at how busy it is there today. Just take a look. It's a busy place there. A lot of things going on, people working. There's a busy place there. Just take a look at it. Take a look at it. It's a busy place. Yeah. Well, what about the rest of it? Well, what's going on? You don't even have to look to a foreign country. Just look at Atlanta, at the airport. I forgot how many, a flight every 15 seconds is taking off and landing there? I mean, it's a busy place. Tens of thousands of people every day are flying in and out of there. I mean, it's a busy place. What about the rest of the country? What's going on? I'm not saying that. It's an observation. That's all. We don't gotta look somewhere else. I'm tired of hearing about the war and everything else. Border, all that. I'm tired of all that. Who cares about that stuff? It's just one more political argument. There'll be another one after that. Whatever. Something's going to come up. I don't care about all that. Nobody does. We can't. This matters, though. Look at this.
I think that is our priority through the day today, is to make sure that everybody is safe after this storm has passed. As we go into the next few days, we're going to want to assess what the total amount of damage is.
Do you hear this? This is so informative. It's so informative. I just happened to look at this. That's all. This video is almost 2 hours now. I just happened to come upon this. That's it. Just happened to come upon it. That's all. I wasn't looking for it. No, I wasn't.
And see what immediate needs need to be put forth in order to help support and start the recovery process.
Administrator Criswell, thank you so much. Could you just take us a little bit into that briefing that you had with the president today? What is he most concerned about? What was he most focused on? Any other direction that he gave to you other than...
You see, very sharp. The press is doing their job. They really are. See, these reporters, they're not the on-air people. No, they're not. They're the unsung heroes here. See how he redirected? What does the president say to you? I want to know what the president has to say. They're doing their job, but we don't ever hear this. No, people don't hear this. They bash the media. Well, they're there doing their job. Of course they are. They all work for an outlet. But that's not what maybe gets, that's not the on-air. They're asking the right questions there. What does the president have to say? You see? That's what we need to do. When we want to hear from the president, come on. We can't depend upon these people. They're doing a great job. Look at them. That's really hard.
Fly down to Florida. And then secondly, you said that Governor DeSantis
See this? Listen.
with the president today. What is he...
Here to help support
Listen
and start
to this.
the recovery process.
Administrator Criswell, thank you so much. Could you just take us a little bit into that briefing that you had with the president today? What is he most concerned about? What was he most focused on? Any other direction that he gave to you other than to fly down to Florida? And then secondly, you said that Governor DeSantis is satisfied with the federal response, doesn't need anything additional. Was there anything else discussed on that call?
Yeah, the president's main concern is making sure that we are bringing everything that we have in to support these states as they're having immediate response and life-saving needs or beginning to start their assessment and their recovery process. I think it's incredibly important that our governors know that we are ready and postured to bring in all federal resources to support any of their life-saving and their life-sustaining needs in the very near future. The conversation with Governor DeSantis was that, reiterating the fact that we already have over 1,500 personnel there in the area to be able to support. And the governor currently has no unmet needs, but as we begin to assess, right, as the governor assesses and as I get on the ground tomorrow to assess, we'll see what additional needs might be there and if any of those resources need to be employed or we need to move more into the area.
All right, let's just go back. I got to go back. Let's go back to the question. Just listen to this. It's very informative, you see. It's like, No, DeSantis speaks for himself. I don't care what Governor DeSantis has to say. He's the governor of Florida. He don't care about Georgia. No, he doesn't. He cares about Florida. He's talking to people. I know he's already talking to people in Florida. Of course he is. He's on the ground in Florida. I know it. Of course he is. I don't care about that. I want to know, what is the president doing? What are you standing there for? Come on. The reporters got it right here. They do. Just listen to this. Just listen to this.
Could you just take us a little bit into that briefing that you had with the president today? What is he most concerned about? What was he most focused on? Any other direction that he gave to you other than to fly down to Florida? And then secondly, you said that Governor DeSantis is satisfied with the federal response, doesn't need anything additional. Was there anything else discussed on that call?
Yeah, the president's main concern is making sure that we are bringing everything that we have in to support these states as they're having immediate response and life-saving needs or beginning to start their assessment and their recovery process. I think it's incredibly important that our governors know that we are ready and postured to bring in all federal resources to support any of their life-saving and their life-sustaining needs in the very near future. The conversation with Governor DeSantis was that, reiterating the fact that we already have over 1,500 personnel there in the area to be able to support. And the governor currently has no unmet needs, but as we begin to assess, right, as the governor assesses and as I get on the ground tomorrow to assess, we'll see what additional needs might be there and if any of those resources need to be employed or we need to move more into the area.
Has the president spoken yet with the governors of Georgia or South Carolina as well, or any plans for that to happen?
I believe he was preparing to contact them after I left so I could come to this briefing. Good.
Thank you. Administrator, to what extent do you attribute climate change as a cause of this storm?
Oh my gosh, bad question. Climate change? My God, people could be dead. What the hell are they talking about climate change for? Bad question from this reporter. Who cares about climate change? What's that got to do with it? There could be people dead right now. Why are they talking about human life? Climate change? My gosh. That's controversial anyway. I mean, who cares? But people don't even agree that that's a thing. Oh my God. I mean, come on. Maybe he's a rookie. I don't know who he is, but there you go. Climate change. You see how it is? Climate change. Well, what is that? Sell hell? I mean, come on. They're not bad people, but you see what I'm saying? You're getting this. I'm getting it. I'm getting this in a way like I never got it before. I never got it like this before. I haven't. Oh, I haven't. I've never thought this. No, this is it. First time right here now.
The weather events that we're seeing over the last weeks and months.
Yeah, I'm not going to attribute the cause of the storm, but what I can say is that
The cause of the storm is weather. The weather caused it. The weather caused it. It's a natural phenomenon. We've had hurricanes for a long time. Yes, of course we have. We know what it is. It's a hurricane. It's got a name. It's got standards. It has certain names. If it's a hurricane, it's category 1. It's a phenomenon. It's real. I'm not going to attribute what caused it. It's a weather thing. I mean, my God. Oh my gosh.
We are seeing an increase in the number of severe weather events. And what we saw with this storm, as we have seen with several of our hurricanes over the last few years, is that they are intensifying more rapidly.
You see how this goes now? Now they're talking about mumbo jumbo bullshit. This is all bullshit now. It's bullshit. There's people dead maybe right now. People without food, people without shelter, people in need, people come on, where's the human life? Forget about all this healthcare, abortion, forget about all that. I'm talking about now. Right then and there, and it's still true today. This is February 25th. This was August 30th. My gosh, that was 6 months ago. Who knows? Gosh, can you smell what the Rock's got cooking? Yeah, can you? Yeah, it's smackdown,
To the elevated heat of the water temperature in the Gulf or in the Pacific or whether it's in the Atlantic. These storms are intensifying so fast that...
You see, this is not an agenda. They're not promoting climate change here. No, they're not. They're not ideologues here. No, this is what the world talks about. I mean, well, not the whole world. No, really. No, it really isn't. This is a very peculiar thing to the United States. It really is. This is pretty peculiar to the United States. It really is. It really is. No, they're not talking about this climate. They're not talking about this in other places. They really aren't. They're too busy doing what they got to do. No, they really aren't. No, they really aren't. No, they're busy working and doing what they got to do. Yeah, even the humanitarian crisis on the border, I'll tell you what, those individuals, they are people that are fleeing because of whenever the crisis, it's a crisis. It's not immigrants, it's people in crisis at the border. I mean, they're not at the border, they're people in crisis. It's a crisis. It's not illegal. They're not illegal. You can't be an illegal. You can't be an illegal. I'm a person. I can't be an illegal. I'm a person. I'm not illegal. Of course I'm not. I've heard people, you know what, they just devalues. This is the problem, you see. It's just human life doesn't seem to have a value. We've just all these words and things and that just puts it, gosh. I'm a consumer, I know that. I hear that, I know that really well. Oh, I'm a consumer. Oh, I am. No, I'm not a consumer. I'm the one being consumed. That's what it is. Oh, I'm not a consumer. No, I'm the one being consumed. That's what that is. It is.
Our local emergency management officials have less time to warn and evacuate and get people to safety. This is something that we have to take into consideration.
Less time? How do you have less time? You don't have less time. It's a hurricane. We know how fast it's moving. We know the trajectory. We know when we know these things. It's not less time.
As we build our preparedness plans, as our local communities build their preparedness plans on how they're going to communicate and prepare their communities for the...
Now I'm telling you what. You can't beat up on the Biden or Trump or anybody. There is no president in the recent memory that anybody could say, oh, they did a great job. No, they all do this plan. No, it's not. No, they have good days, bad days. They all do. Of course they do. Nobody gets to take credit. I'm a better plan. No, can't do that. Don't go down that road. Yeah, I know you're not for me then. No, don't reduce me to a plan. I'm not even in the plan. I'm not. I'm sure they don't even mention people. I doubt it. We're probably not even in the plan. I doubt it. Because how can you have a plan? They don't even know the condition on the ground. How do you have a plan already? You see, this is how, oh my gosh, I know this much. I know this much. Yeah, I have to go out my door every day and do what I got to do to get by. So does everybody else. We all put on our pants, whatever. We all put them on. We do. We all put on shoes, whatever. We do. We have to time up and go out the door. I got to know what I'm doing. I don't make a plan when I leave my house. I'm sure I don't make a plan. How many times? No, I don't. I know I got to go out and do something. Come on, plan. They don't have no plan. It makes me wonder, how are we coordinating? How are we, just think about this. Here we are. Here this was last August. Right here. People in harm's way, harmed. Loss of property and life and limb and stuff. Okay? How are we directing a battle in the Red Sea? How are we doing that? How is that happening? Who's doing that then? Who's in charge of that? How is that happening? I wonder how it's happening. Look at how this is happening. I'm not saying, well, I'm just saying, look at this. Just look at this. Who's in charge? That's what I want to know. I go to a business establishment. There's a manager there. There always is. A supervisor. There's always somebody in charge. It doesn't matter. But there's one person in that store and they're an employee. While the boss is gone, they're in charge, right? They are. They are. They're always in charge. There's always somebody in charge. And you can't leave your kids without an adult in charge. We know this. So, come on.
Types of storms that they're going to face in the future.
More specifically on this storm, do you have any sense, or is it too early now to say what the cost of recovery will require?
Cost? Oh my God. How could you know the cost? think about the question he's asking. He's just doing a job. I mean, I'm not criticizing. I don't know who this person is, but you see how this works? I mean, they're just like, oh, yeah. You know what? Bugs Bunny, I tell you what. Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, you know, every time you turn into that show, they're going to be busy and they're going to be doing, come on. You know what? You knew what was going to happen. You know the Roadrunner was going to get away and Wile E. Coyote was going to get messed up and they do it the next time too. But we all loved it and thought it was great, right? Yeah, we did. Of course we did. Boy, this is a snooze fest here. Oh my gosh. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's far too early to even estimate what the cost is. It's still unsafe in many parts to even go out. That's what's going to happen over the next several days, is to really get a good understanding, an initial estimate of what we think the costs will be and what the amount of impact.
And this is the same thing for lives, for the brave men and women serving in uniform in far-flung places around the globe. They're in harm's way right now, putting their life on the line for the country. For us. In harm's way today. In harm's way. Maybe getting killed, having their life lost. Other people dying every day. And they're like, come on. There's people dying every day. Here in this country. Right here. In every town there is. It happens every day. It's natural.
Communities has been.
Just to follow on that, with what you've seen so far, how long do you think it will take to get that full assessment, and how long will it take to understand the costs of recovery efforts?
Yeah, we have rapid assessment teams that have been pre-positioned, ready to go out as soon as it's safe to do so. And so,
oh my gosh, see this? We have the teams ready to go out when it's safe. So we're sitting here waiting until it's safe to go out and assess. We don't know what's happening to life and limb of people, but we're here at the ready to assess and go take an inventory of how many dead there are and how many we're going to count them all up and what else. Yeah, okay. We're just going to, it's not a bureaucracy. It's not. They're not bad. They're not evil. No, they're not. They care, but you see how this is. The reporters are participating in the same dialogue. And then you wonder, we don't have faith in, lack faith in the media. We just know one thing. That's too far digested. Has no bearing on our normal reality because they're regurgitating it how many times over? I mean, come on, we all know that. So we stopped listening a long time ago. Yeah, we the people stopped listening a long time ago. We did stop listening a long time ago. We really did. We did. I'm not sure exactly when, but I think we stopped listening a long time ago. I think so. We just didn't tell the elected people. We're like, oh well, whatever. Well, one of them maybe. Well, I'm too busy. I have no time to tell them. They'll figure it out maybe one of these days. I don't know. We didn't let them in on it though. Yeah, we stopped listening to you a long time ago. Yeah, whatever. Oh, okay. Yeah, what is that I hear over there? I don't know. Chirp, 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 chirp. I don't even think it's that. I think it's just silence, because who could listen to this?
Those are personnel that will integrate in with the state personnel to go see what the damages are. But
do you hear this? This personnel integrate with state personnel to go see. You see what I'm saying? Do you see this? It's nobody's at fault here. The media's not at fault and they're not evil. No. That's just polarization and craziness. No, this is basic. We do this all the time. We have aunts and uncles and moms and dads and kids. We do this every day. We take care of one another. All of us do. I have people in my building. I don't even know them, but we take care. We do. For God's sake, that's what people do. People take care of people. Of course they do. Of course they do. Of course they do. Every day. We have responsibilities not to myself. No, I know I can take care of myself. I have to take care of somebody else.
Also use technology, right? We use aerial imagery and satellite technology, and we use our geospatial information to get a better idea, so we don't have to physically put people out there, and it allows us to make these types of decisions.
We, the government, don't have to physically put people out there in harm's way, but the people who are in harm's way, well, you see this? They're all guilty of this. They have a responsibility. I'm not the president. I'm not the administrator. I'm not a member of Congress. I'm not a bureaucrat. You can't blame it on the bureaucracy. You can't. Because they just are doing a job. It's Congress, the president. I mean, come on. Congress is ultimately responsible. They are responsible. They're Article 1, Congress. They are responsible. Ultimately, they are. They're the ones who get to impeach and have a trial. They're the boss. They are the boss. After us. They don't work for the president. No. The president doesn't work for them either. But when you talk about accountability, it's that House and that Senate.
Much quicker than we've been able to in the past. And so again, it will take several days to get a full understanding of what the initial assessment, damage assessment is, but it will take longer to get the full picture of the total amount of impact to these communities.
And yesterday you had said that FEMA's disaster relief fund was running low. With what we've seen from this storm so far, there's also the Maui fires. Do you think there's enough funding? Are you confident there's enough if there's another extreme weather event in the next month?
Yeah, so yesterday, as I announced, I directed my personnel to implement what we call immediate needs funding, and that priority.
What are you talking about? She's admitted, you guys, I don't care what, she doesn't have the authority to direct funding. For God's sakes, no. The governor put in a request for a declaration for an emergency, where the president declared a national emergency. We've said it. Who's running the government? Congress isn't. We know that. They don't spend. Come on. You know, I know how much money I got. I got my wallet right now. I know what I got. So does everybody else. We all know what we got. Of course we do. We got responsibilities. Who? Come on.
Is the remaining funding within the Disaster Relief Fund to support those life-saving efforts. I believe through this effort we have plenty of funding to be able to support our ongoing efforts in Maui, as well as this event, to include Florida, Georgia, South Carolina as needed. But we are monitoring it very closely, right? Every day we are looking at what the cost of these storms are as we approach the end of this fiscal year, and if we have...
Oh my gosh, I just can't believe it. No wonder, everybody. I'm not even a number. Neither is anybody else. We don't even exist, you see. We don't exist. Of course we don't exist. I know more about the people in my neighborhood that I don't even know their names, and merchants, the places I shop. I know more about them and what's going on. I see them. I do. We all do. I know more about my own world every day that I have to go out in. These people don't know anything about anything what anybody else is doing. They have no idea. I know the president doesn't know. He doesn't. Of course he doesn't. How could he? I mean, we know Congress doesn't. They don't. What do they know? We know the lobbyists don't. We know the media. The reporters, even the on-air ones. You know what? They all do get out. They do. They do get out. They actually see people and interview people. I think they know more about what they're looking at. I think so. Than this. Of course they do. Got to stop beating up on these media people. They're not media. They're reporters. They're reporters. They report what they see. They can't help it. They have to report what they see. Look at these folks. Man, how are you going to report about this? What are you going to report? I have no idea. Probably nothing. I mean, what would you have to report? There's not a single fact. There's nothing factual here. There's really nothing to report on, actually. This is a press briefing. It's a press briefing. There's nothing to report on. I mean, really, what would you go out and write? I mean, nothing. I can just see it. Nothing. There's nothing to write about this.
Another storm, we're going to have to closely monitor what impact that's going to have and any other actions we might have to take.
Administrator, thank you for being here. As we do approach the end of the fiscal year, as you just noted, just getting a little bit down the road, these take weeks.
I mean, look at this guy here. I mean, I don't know what he's probably reading. He's probably checking on his kids, you know? I might be my guess. He's checking on his kids, maybe. I don't know. I might be watching a movie. Whatever. I mean, probably. Look at this guy. I mean, just look at him. I mean, look at this guy back here. I mean, just look at him. Oh, there's a fire. Oh, that's good to know. Hey, they could do better in emergency. At least they can pull the fire thing and the alarm will go off. Maybe they'll get some help, you know? I mean, come on. Boy, oh boy, I'll tell you what. It's something, ain't it? It's just some kind of something.
Months to recover. FEMA's involvement will go on for quite a long time. Back in 2013, when there was a government shutdown, FEMA had to furlough its non-essential staff right now. What potential impact would a government shutdown as lawmakers?
And now it's 6 months later and we're facing a real shutdown again. Yeah, what happened? I mean, come on. We don't even know. You know what? I'm not sure how I would even find out what happened in this disaster. I mean, right now, let's say I want to find out, well, what happened to the people that live down in Florida? Did they die? What happened? I don't know. How would I find out? How would I find out? How would I find out? I mean, I could, but I'm not sure. I'd have to work at it if I wanted to find out. I would. I'd have to go find it somewhere. Yeah. Like, at least the pigeons know where the food's been put out for them, for God's sake. They can find that. Of course they can. People feed the birds, don't they? Oh, they do. I see it all the time. Yeah. We feed the birds, don't we? We do. We know where they are, don't we?
Have considerations about whether the funds of the government have on FEMA's ability to care for those in both Maui and in Florida.
I mean, we always want to take account to what our personnel are doing and how we're using our personnel to
support. Did you see what that was?
But we are monitoring it very closely, right? Every day we are looking at what the cost of these storms are as we approach the end of this fiscal year. And if we have another storm, we're going to have to closely monitor what impact that's going to have and any other actions we might have to take.
Administrator, thank you for being here. As we do approach the end of the fiscal year, as you just noted, just getting a little bit down the road, these take weeks, months to recover. FEMA's involvement will go on for quite a long time. Back in 2013, when there was a government shutdown, FEMA had to furlough its non-essential staff right now. What potential impact would a government shutdown, as lawmakers have considerations about whether the funds of the government have on FEMA's ability to care for those in both Maui and in Florida?
I mean, we always want to take account to what our personnel are doing and how we're using our personnel to support these events. A government shutdown does not impact our personnel that are funded through the Disaster Relief Fund, and so they're able to continue operating and supporting all of the immediate efforts and life-saving efforts that continue to go on. And we also, for our other staff, can designate our emergency essential personnel to support any life-saving efforts. And so we have plans in place, as we have gone through this before, on how we would staff our agency to continue to support those efforts.
If I can follow up about the critical needs assistance that was provided to those in Maui, $700 in payments to individuals there, given the cost of living in Hawaii, specifically in the Lahaina community. Is anything being done right now? Are there considerations or efforts?
I mean, really? Was it a one-time check or? I mean, are they paying those people regularly or something? I mean, what are they doing? What did they just say?
Being made to try to raise that cap, that $700 figure for those who are there.
Yeah, the $700 figure of critical needs assistance is really just that amount of funding for some of the very immediate needs that individuals have. Every year, the main part of our assistance, which is our individual and household program, adjusts annually based on inflation.
Individual and household program? What the heck is that? I mean, what is that? Are we writing checks to people now or something? Like, what are we doing? What is they talking about? I mean, what are they talking about? What are they talking about? I've never heard of such a thing. Since when are we doing that? I mean, direct checks to people or something? For what? I mean, how are they paying? I mean, how does that work? I mean, just how does that work? Are they handing out $100 bills or what? I mean, how does that work? Are they handing out little cards to people or something? From corporations or something, you know, take a gift card thing or something? I mean, how does that work? How do they know where the money's going? I mean, what, you know, how does that work? How does that work? I don't know how that works. I mean, how does that work? I mean, how does that work? Who's accounting for? I mean, how? Somebody's got to hand out, somebody's got to put the money. I mean, that's money. How does that work? Forget about the $1 trillion budget. How does that work? That's what I know. How does that work? That's all I need. I don't need to know about trillions. How does that work? Yeah, how does that work?
This year it's $41,000 of a cap that individuals can get. That will get raised after the fiscal year.
$41,000 for what? Do you know what? Are you kidding me? Now let me say, there's a program that somehow gives people up to $41,000 a year. And how many people live in this neighborhood here? Oh, let me see. Okay, well, you know, I'm a little mischievous, right? Well, okay, so let's say there's a bad actor sets a fire somewhere. Then everybody gets paid, right? Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, that could encourage mischievousness. There are bad actors out there. There are. Their people wouldn't care. They'd set a fire. They would, or blow up a dam. They were people who would do damages to places. Just so, you know, a few people, whatever, but knowing that everybody's going to get $41,000 a year. Think about it. Just think about that. That's enough right there. That's enough incentive for some bad actors. Not forget about people coming over the border. People that run this country. There are bad actors here. There are. Of course they are. Set a bill. Of course there are. We know that. What an easy thing to do is that. Yeah. Set a fire and feel like I'm helping a bunch of people because I know that some will die, but maybe a bunch of people will end up getting checks or something. So I don't feel too bad about it because they didn't have much to begin with. So, all right, well, whatever. Think about it. Just think about that a minute. Just think about that.
I don't know what that number is yet, but we do adjust that main portion of the funding that goes to individuals annually based on inflation.
So 700 is it for now, and then they can pursue.
You know, it sounds a lot like universal basic income in a way, doesn't it? It sort of does. It does, actually. I'm not sure what that is exactly, but my goodness. You know what? I have to work and make arrangements for what I get every month like everybody else does. Of course you do. How does this work?
Do those other monies going forward, but if people have run through that money right now, they're on their own until they get access to the further assistance coming.
Yeah, and we already have, I think it was 12.
They're on their own until they get further assistance coming. Can you see what this is doing? I don't know, but I'll tell you what I know. I do know. I do know. That is enough right there for some bad actors to I'm telling you. Yeah, and then can you imagine people in need like they are? Other people, bad actors coming around and then, you know, coercing people. Oh, you're going to get 41,000, you know. And just think through this a minute. Forget about drugs and whatever. Forget about that. What about this? Think about it. Just think about that a minute. Just think about that. Look what we might have just inadvertently incentivized. Yeah. Right. Really. I don't know it, but it makes sense to me. Let's just be a Robin Hood. I'll set something on fire. Yeah. Maybe I even try to get people out. I've heard a lot of things. Well, this building burned down and there was no injuries. Haven't you heard that? I've heard that. I have heard that. I have heard that, actually. This bad thing happened, but there's no injuries. I have heard things like that. I have. I can't say where, but I still think I have. It seems like I have. Can you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Can you think about it a minute?
1,000 individuals that registered for assistance in Maui, and somewhere...
Registered? How do they know who registered? Can I move out there and register? What if the people out there aren't even residents? What if you just set a fire and people flocked out there? I'm just there in line. I'd get a... You know what? Come on. Think about it. Think about it now. Just think about it. Forget about trillions and billions. Just think about that a minute.
Over $15 million that's out on the street. That number could be higher right now.
Did you hear that? $15 million that's out on the street. My gosh, that sounds like some kind of freaking bookie. It sounds like a bookie. Sounds like you're shooting dice. Come on. I mean, gosh. Oh my gosh, it sounds like you're around. It sounds like the guys around the corner shooting dice, you know? Come on. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. It's just incredible. It's so incredible. I really can't. It's incredible.
Fiscal year, I don't know what that number is yet, but we do adjust that main portion of the funding that goes to individuals annually based on inflation.
So 700 is it for now, and then they can pursue those other monies going forward. But if people have run through that money right now, they're on their own until they get access to the further assistance coming.
Yeah, and we already have, I think it was 12,000 individuals that registered for assistance in Maui, and somewhere over $15 million that's out on the street. That number could be higher right now from that other program.
I know that you and the governor and local officials, state officials have all told people that they get out of the way of this storm. So my first question is, are you satisfied that people heeded those?
Now just look at these faces here. Just wait a minute. Now just look at these faces. Come on, just look. I'm not going to point at any. I'm not going to do it. I don't know any of these people, but just look at these faces. Just look at them. Just look at them. That's why I love this. You know, you can just pause and sit here and just look at this. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. Just look at them. Oh my goodness. And they do this every day. Oh, every day they've been doing this. Oh my gosh. Talk about oh my God, I bet you they can't wait to go home. I bet you they have a wonderful time. I wonder how many, boy, is it a 2-bottle night of Chardonnay or what? I mean, oh my, they can't wait to get home to their families and go do something, I'm sure. I mean, I can't imagine. Oh my gosh, I couldn't stand it, really. They do this every day.
Calls both from you and local and state officials. And then secondly, you mentioned the search and recovery teams that are sort of deployed and ready to go. What's your assessment so far on what those needs?
What, search and recovery? It sounds like bag 'em and tag 'em. The bag and tag team is waiting there. I mean, do they got the morgue bags out already? They got to count on those, you know? I mean, come on. Really? Bag 'em and tag 'em. Oh my goodness. Really? Boy, I'll tell you what. We care for our pets better than this. Think about it. We love our dogs and cats and everything else. We do. We sure do. Of course we do. Of course we do.
Look like if people are sort of stranded right now?
Yeah, so on the first question, I think many people did heed the warning, but unfortunately many did not. Right? We're already getting...
Did you hear this? Oh my God, it's my worst nightmare right now. They have no idea. They have no idea. They're blaming people now. Well, this is everywhere. It is everywhere. I experience this I just about every time I go out my door somewhere, I do experience this kind of a thing. I can't tell you how many times I have. From all kinds of places. Doctors, nurses, all kinds of places I hear this kind of thing. A lot of people hear this. Just ask parents trying to raise kids, teachers and schools. Just come on, we all have. I know we all have. Everybody has if they're honest. People who work every day. I don't know. These people, whatever. I'm not saying they're not working, but you know what I'm saying.
Reports of people that chose to stay, and they're getting calls into the local first responders to come in and assist them. And if anybody needs, unfortunately...
Assessment so both from you.
Do you hear? Just listen to this, okay? Now, just listen to this. this person, she's kind. I know she is. I know she can. I do know she does. I do know she does. But just listen to the way it's like this. The way it's like. Just listen to the milieu of it. I mean, it's just I don't even know what to call it. Really, I still don't know what to call it. I've been experiencing this for quite a while now. I don't know what to call it. I do have a name for it. I do have a name. I do have a name. I'm not going to say what it is. There is a kind of a pseudo-psychological. There's a thing out there. There's a term for this. There is. I do know what the term is. I do know what the term is, and I know where it started, and I've tracked it down. It's taken me a while, but there is a name for this phenomenon. There is. It's got a name. It does. It's not one that's very common. I'd never heard of it before myself, but it took me a while, but I did. I finally found it. I did. I even found a short blog written by, I'll just say a learned person in a learned place. Yeah, in this obscure kind of, this really obscure kind of a place. I just don't ask me how I found it, but anyway, I came across it one day. I said, oh my gosh, right there it is. Yeah, I already knew the name, but I think I found the origin. I think I found the origin for it. At least one origin, yeah. And there is a person that's pretty well published and does a lot of talking to lots of people. It's got some books and stuff that sort of talks about it too, of course, you know. Yeah, there are, but I found an early, I think I got it now. Yeah, I think I do. And now here this is. See, here's the living example where it matters. This matters. Those other places, whatever, yeah, but no, this matters, you see. Yeah, because this is the president's talking here. It's even here, and I know they don't. I don't tell you what. I know that they don't even know this term. I didn't know it either. I didn't know it myself. I just learned it in the past year or so. I think I don't know how long, but not that long. I know myself. I mean, I wasn't looking for it, but I came across it anyway. Well, here it is. Here it is, right here in living color. In living color. Here it is, right here, and they have no idea. If I even said this term to these people, they would be like, what are you talking about? They would, but I don't have time to educate them myself. That's why I don't talk about it. But anyway, why bring up something people just going to like, I don't have any time to waste on that. That's why I'm not saying what it is right now, because it's not like you can just, it's not something you can just explain. It's not a soundbite. No, it's not. Everyday life is complex. It's not complicated. No, it's not complicated. It's complex. That's what it is.
Local and state officials. And then secondly, you mentioned the search and recovery teams that are sort of deployed and ready to go. What's your assessment so far on what those needs look like if people are sort of stranded right now?
Yeah, so on the first question, I think many people did heed the warning, but unfortunately many did not. Right, we're already getting reports of people that chose to stay, and they're getting calls into the local first responders to come in and assist them. And if anybody needs assistance, they should call 911 and those local.
Do you see this? They said earlier, stay in place. You see, I tell you what, this is the example of this. I tell you what, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that there's this. This is a concrete, dire consequence, life and death. It is. People in harm's way, harmed with this phenomenon, this thing that I've come across. Here it is, right here. It's right here. It is. It explains this. It really does. And this is, I can't believe this. This is it's not an example. No, it's not, because these people don't know. See, that's the whole key. None of these people have any idea that this term and this kind of thing about this, that this describes this. They have no idea even. They've never heard of it. I'll guarantee you they've never heard of it, because I never heard of it. And this is the only time I've ever seen an example where it's really just right there. It's like, it's a force, you know, it is. It's a phenomenon, like the weather, you know, it's not it's a phenomenon, like a weather. It's a phenomenon. It's like a phenomenon. That's what it is. And this is it right here. This is it. Yeah, it really is. This is too tragic, though. I mean, this is life. I mean, I wouldn't want to trivialize. I would not want to trivialize the fact that people are scared and hurt and dead and, hungry, I could not want to trivialize that. That's not the phenomenon. No, that's not what this describes. This doesn't describe the people with their thing. No, it doesn't. It describes the way that this administrator is talking about it. And the kind of questioning that the reporters are doing. They're caught up in this thing and they don't know it. They wouldn't even believe it if I said it anyway, so that's why I won't waste my time. But it's not like you can just say something to what it is, because most people, I never heard of it actually. It took me a while.
First responders will come in and help. As far as the entire footprint of those resources that are available, it's a combined effort recognizing the capability that the state already has with all of their resources, and we have additional resources that are integrated in with that operation. So,
it's like fundraising. It is. Or say, get out the vote or whatever, Yeah, I'm going to have a fundraiser. We're having a fundraiser. Yeah, we're going to raise money for, kids in school having a fundraiser for something. You have to have a goal. You don't say how much you're going to raise, as much as possible. Well, that's no goal. You can't ever get there. We're going to raise $5,000. We're going to raise $100. Oh, $100. That's how you have that red thermometer. You put a value on it, because we know that's how you got to have a goal. As much as possible is not a goal. You can never get there. When have you arrived? You see, that's the thing. You got to be able to measure this. Not in some weird way. We just used to post or whatever. We just put a thermometer thing. Whatever. I don't know. My gosh.
If we need to immediately augment, we have resources that are ready to deploy as soon as requested, without hesitation and without interruption.
Ready to deploy who's going to request them? Oh my gosh. Who's doing the requesting? Whose responsibility is it to request? How do you request? Who's doing the requesting? The governor? Who's doing the requesting? I thought that's what we paid these. I thought that, oh my gosh. And they have 1,500, but those were some volunteers. Are they getting paid? Or, come on. We can't be complicated about this. I don't want to hear about war and money, and I don't want to hear about that. It's important, I guess. It is, whatever. Whatever. I guess. But no, this really is important. Because these people I know. Well, at least they're in Florida and Georgia. It's 6 months ago, but I'm worried about them. I'm worried about them right now, actually. Of course I am.
So yet how many people may be stranded?
Oh, I don't have a number on how many, no.
Oh, see there. Gosh, you don't even know. She does. Oh, my gosh. You see, it's like, oh my gosh, my goodness.
Initial assessment, what would you say are the most damaged areas? And what was the response from the population in those areas to the government's instructions?
I would say that initial reports are in that Big Bend area that have had...
The initial reports are in the Big Bend area. Is that Big Bend, Indiana? Is that the Big Bend in my elbow or my armpit or my knee? Where's the Big Bend at? Jimmy, coming around. Come on. Oh my gosh. Really? Come on. You gotta have a humor. You have to. You can't be all morose about all this. No, of course not. But gosh, oh my goodness.
The greatest impact. They have experienced the greatest amount of storm surge. They experienced the greatest wind speeds. And so when we do get out to start assessments, that would be my anticipation of where we...
Well, how does she know it's the greatest if they haven't done the assessment yet? You see what I'm saying? I get this from other professionals. Come on, I do. Really do. I do. Of course. If you just think about it, now that you see, once you see it, you're like, oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Took a while. It does. Oh, but see, now once we got it now. We got it. That's all it takes. It's not about the name of it. It's just a phenomenon. It's like that hurricane. Yeah, well, we know what that is. Oh, yeah, we do. Not exactly, but we do.
Experience the greatest amount of damage and impact across Florida.
How do people respond in those areas?
Again, I think many people did heed the warnings, and there was a lot of public messaging that went out there to let people understand that the danger is not just the...
Come on. We all know it's a cell phone in my hand, okay? So how does public messaging get out to me? I got a cell phone in my hand. How does that happen, actually? We don't get newspapers. We sure don't. I'm in a big city. Yeah, I sometimes can't even find a newspaper. Really. Really. Yeah, really. I am. Big city. Yeah, big city. Yeah, big city. Big, yeah. The Empire. Yeah, big city. I am. Can't even get a newspaper. Can't even get it. I'm telling you the truth. I can't get a newspaper to read. I'm telling you right now. You just wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't either. Except I experienced it. I don't know when. Not that long ago. Whatever. It wasn't. I said, oh, whatever. Stopped at one of those little stand things, Oh, paper. I said, you got a paper? No, we don't have any papers. I said, what do you mean you don't have any papers? No, because they're all sold. I said, wait a minute. I said, it's like, I don't know. It's like, I said, well, what time is it? I said, well, it's like 11 a.m. Like, what do you mean? I said, oh, okay, thank you very much. I guess they just, all right, Yeah. I go into places that sell newspapers. Well, I would say newspapers, but places that used to have magazines and stuff. You know what? You know how many places I can go into now they don't even have newspapers or magazines? They don't even have magazines. They don't have magazines. They definitely don't have newspapers. They don't have newspapers. No. They don't. I mean, I remember big publishing newspapers, they used to ship those things all around the country. Certain named ones you could. Yeah, I'm getting the Sunday edition of this paper wherever I'm at in the country. They could get those out. I know they did. Of course I know they did. I used to go buy them in my town. This is the thing. You go out Sunday morning. Oh, I go out get the Sunday paper, the big one, from the big town. You'd get it because that was the one you read, the Sunday of that. Yeah, I could get it. I could. That and several others. You could. Why not? You can't do that now. You can't even get a newspaper, for God's sakes. And that's already old news anyway. Of course it is. Just think about that a minute. Just think about that a minute. Just think about the cost of producing newspapers and magazines. To have them on the shelf, delivery and all that stuff. Imagine these big publishing places now. They want to blame other places. Come on. Come on. Don't tell me some other place put them out of business. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, how much easier it is to push your content now just on an app. Come on. Just think about it. I know I can't get a paper. I can't get a paper. I actually have to go into the big part of the city. I haven't even tried to get a paper in my neighborhood. Are you kidding me? I haven't even tried. I didn't even ask. Well, I don't know it's not. I already know it's not here because I haven't ever seen one. I haven't seen one. I have to leave my house. I have to travel like probably 30, 40 minutes to get to a place that maybe might have a paper. Maybe. Think about that. Just think about that. I'm in a big city, okay? I have to leave my neighborhood, get transportation, travel 30, 40 minutes to over where I'm at, and maybe if I remember, I get it on Sunday sometimes. I do. If I remember. Yeah, I do. I'm going to church, I go over there, go to church. Well, if I remember, I try to stop at one of those little stand places and see if they got a paper, That's the only day I do it, on Sunday. I won't do it on another day. Can't tell you how many times. No, we don't have one. No, don't have one. I went to one place. You know what they had on the counter? They had like this little book that had kittens on the front of it. A kitten book. I was like, a kitten book. That's all they had. A kitten book. And a couple of little kitten book, dog book things, I'm like, a kitten book? What the heck is that? What do I want to buy a book about kittens for? Don't have no papers or magazines. Because they just don't want to publish them anymore. Think how much their profits have increased by that. Just think about that. Come on, just don't blame these big box shipping places. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's too easy. That is too easy. Come on. I'm in this town where they name the paper. You tell me they can't get that out in this town? It's the namesake of the paper right on it. You kidding me? I can't get one. Yeah, not even here. Yeah, can't. No, can't get it.
Tone of the hurricane, but it's the storm surge and the water which is creating and causing the most fatalities in these events. But again,
who doesn't know that? That is less than basic. Oh my gosh. Who, come on. You know what? It's just, it's just, it's not indifference, and it's not a lack of caring. No, that's too simple. That's too simple. That's just blaming somebody, you know? It's really a phenomenon. It really is. It is a phenomenon. Yeah, it is a phenomenon. It's a new phenomenon. I never heard of it before myself. I never heard of this ever. I never experienced it. Maybe I had, but anyway, I didn't know. But I see it now. Once I saw it, I then see it. Once you see it, then you see it. Yeah. Seeing is believing, actually. You have to have it. See, it says in the every religion, faith in the world has an origin story. They do. Every single one they do. They're very similar in a way. But one of them talks about how, they name things. And they name the animals, or they gave a name. That's very, give a name. It doesn't exist until it has a name. I don't exist unless I have a name. The little child says mum usually first. They don't say dad first, because mum is easier to say, because it's, that's just how it is. It's not that dad's not, we know that. We look for we heard the first time they said a word or something. Just think about that. Come on, just think about that. Naming. And what do? We say the name to the baby. We call them by their name. That's how you think they learn their name. We say it to them over and over and over again. Constantly. My goodness, come on. We just forgot. I think we just forgot. I think so. I really think so. Just forget. It's easy to forget things. Really, it is. We're very forgetful. Of course we're forgetful. You can forget these things. Sure you can. Of course we can. Boy, we forget a lot of things all the time. Of course we do. I'm not a bad person because I forgot something, for God's sakes.
Many people did not, as we are hearing about our first responders going in to support rescuing people from their homes that are now stranded.
And you know what I wonder? I'll tell you right now. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to go. I don't have to go out there on a limb for this. I really don't. You know what? Based on your socioeconomic class, yeah. Your neighborhood. Think about that. Just think about this for a minute. Think about the impact of this. Who are the people most likely to be left fending for themselves all on their own? Just think about this for a second. Yeah, think about it. People who are disabled, people who don't have economic means. Maybe they don't have transportation. Maybe they, come on, let's think about this. Just think about it. Of course, that's obvious. Whatever the impact of this is, it disproportionately has impacted those who don't have available to them the opportunity or the means to do what they need to take care of themselves. They're not poor. They're not rich. No, it's just, it's not haves and have-nots. Of course it's not. Let's stop that. It's not opportunity either. You know what it is? There used to be a time when we cared about our neighbors. We didn't know. They're a neighbor. I didn't concern myself how much money. I know. We were neighbors. Everybody was a neighbor. Of course. You help your neighbor. Everybody does that. Well, we used to anyway. We used to. I wonder now. I do wonder now. Not just in the big places. Come on. No, let's don't do that. Think about it. Just think about it for a second. Yeah. How would we? Yeah. I used to be able to look up a phone number and call my neighbor. We had something called a phone book. It was alphabetical. Everybody had a name in there. It was important to have your name in there. You wanted your name in the phone book so your neighbors you could look up where I could go to the library and get phone books from other places. I could look up, I could call somebody. And you could even put your address in. Think about this. You had an address and a phone number and a name. You knew where they lived and how to call them and their name. Oh my gosh, Taryn, no, come on. Just think about it. Think about it. I know there's not a lot of people who remembers the phone book, but I do. Of course I do. If you had big enough town, you could go to your library. The libraries had phone books from multiple places. These places, especially the yellow pages, they would make these. They sold those and made money. They'd sell them to the libraries. They only came out once a year. You would wait when the phone book was coming out. We all knew if you moved, think about that. Just think about it. They even had plastic covers and all kinds of things. The phone book, just think about it. Just think about it. What now? Heck, I miss calls from loved ones even. Because some settings off, it doesn't ring or this or that. Come on, really. I know I miss calls. I do. I don't even know I got them. Because I'll call them and say, I tried to, gosh. Think about that. I know that's my experience. I think a lot of people experience that. Some settings or something change. Whatever. How do you know? They don't come with an instruction manual, These devices, there's no instructions on there. How are you supposed to know how to... there are no instructions. They don't come with a manual. They don't even have a built-in... They don't even have diagrams or anything. There's no button you can press on the front of it. Click here and it takes you through a little video. They don't even have little training videos on these to even tell you how it works. Think about that. Just think about that a minute. They don't. I've got a device. I still really don't know even how it works. I really don't. I have no idea. I really don't. I know it does far more than I could ever imagine. I don't even know what it all does. I think it's doing a lot of stuff that maybe they don't want me to know it's doing, but maybe they don't know either. Who knows? I don't know. Not like you can find out either. There's no way to find out. You can even look up these little apps and things on here, some of these things. I've tried to look some of them up before. Type it in the computer. You know what it comes? It doesn't even come. I can't even find it on the internet. Some of these things in here, I type it in and don't even come up with anything. Now what the heck does that say? What is that? Yeah, think about it.
Way in the back and then James. On the immediate needs funding, I'm curious if you have recognized the potential long-term ongoing recovery efforts that could be at risk here.
Do you see how it's not tangential? It's just it's not generalized. It's just, yeah. It's so far removed from the humanity. That's what it is. We couldn't act this way to our family or our friends. We can't treat our friends like this. No, you can't. You got to go to birthdays. You got to remember these things for your friends. Yeah, you got a social life. Remember? Yeah, you got to. Just call it being polite, I guess. I don't know.
So if I understand the long-term recovery efforts based on right now, or what it looks like going into the next fiscal year?
Going into the next.
See how far down. It's so speculative, I guess. But they don't think they don't see it that way. I know if you said, you're so speculative, they'd be insulted. Of course they would. I wouldn't say that because I wouldn't want to insult them. But you see what I'm saying? See how difficult this is? I can see what's going on. I can. Because I'm making an observation here. I know they don't know what's going on. No. I know right now you could show this to this person and these reporters. You could. You could play this back to them. They'd just look at it and say, yeah, great. Really, they would. Of course they would. They might not even remember even doing it, really. They probably don't, but they can't, you can't analyze yourself. There's the whole thing going on here. They got a dynamic, there's this whole thing, This is a very stilted kind of environment anyway. There's a whole thing, really. This is not a conversation, there's, there's ways, whatever.
This fiscal year, which ones are at risk here if you do not get the funding you need?
Yeah, so what immediate needs funding does is the work does not stop, right? The projects continue to go underway, our longer term recovery.
Do you hear this? It just keeps going. The money's there. You see, this is not waste. No, come on. This is where there's a disconnect. I can't run my household this way. My bill is due. I have to have the money. We have to have money. Pay, come on. People on stock markets, they watch their stock. They know how much come on. They're not wasting money. Come on. It's not a bureaucracy. This isn't a bureaucracy. Just look at the way they're talking about this. You can't tell. This is why we don't get anywhere. No. See, you can't just say too much money, waste, whatever, Come on. $32 trillion of debt. Well, it's a big number, but it's a number. Well, if I had to owe that much, I'd have to figure out a plan for it. Of course we can figure out a plan for it. It's just money anyway. It's a number. That's all. Figure it out. We can, come on.
Projects for the variety of disasters that we've experienced over the year. The obligation or the reimbursement of the funding for those is delayed into the next fiscal year. If it gets delayed...
I'll tell you what. Boy, I tell you what, I hear what you're saying there. I do, but oh my mercy. Boy, I'll tell you what. Yeah, if you look long enough and hard enough, you can find out, there's some things. There really are some things. Yeah, there's some things with some big numbers on them that I've never heard anybody talk about even. I haven't even heard anybody mention it. There are bills. Of course, it's all a bill to be paid. And that's not debts, it's a bill. We owe a bill. We owe money to. It's not a debt. It's a bill. We have to pay our bills. That's what it is. I call my bills. I don't say, I got my debts. Yeah, my electric. No, it's a bill. I got my electric bill, gas bill, whatever. We have bills to pay. We the people do. Just so you know. We the people are on the hook for this, We are, because we're the sovereign. We're responsible. We're on the hook for this money. We the people are. Yes, we are. We are. Not the Treasury. No, we are. Because guess what? If the full faith and credit gets messed up, who does it impact? We the people. We're on the hook for the whole bill. We are. We have to pay the bill, period. We do. We'll have to do without, won't we? Yeah, we will. Because we owe the bill. It's our bill to pay. $32 trillion of it. Yeah, we owe the bill. To us, we're responsible for it. There's nobody to bail us out, I'm telling you that much. Nobody to bail out we the people. The rest of the world's not going to do that. Of course not. We don't have $32 trillion. What we do that gets anyway, I'm not going to get into all that, but there's always a way. There is a will. If there's a will, there's a way. Or when you got bills to pay, you got to figure out how to do it. That's right. That's the problem. They don't see them as bills. It's just you got to take a new perspective, got to stand in a different place.
Into the next fiscal year, then that just starts us out at a smaller balance of what we had anticipated our needs would be for fiscal year 24.
She doesn't pay her bills at her house that way. I know that much. You see what I'm saying? It's just that simple. Come on, just think about it. It's not complicated. It's complex. Just listen to that. If I don't pay my cell phone bill, the thing turns off until I pay it, okay? Yeah, of course it does. Same thing. Yeah, it is due. There's nobody to bail out we the people. There isn't. We don't have a guarantor. We are the guarantor. Everybody here. How many? 300 million of it. We're responsible for the bill. Congress isn't responsible for the bill. Neither is the president, treasurer, or anybody else. We're responsible for it. Of course we are. People haven't thought about that really, but we are. We owe the bill because we're in charge. We the people.
Any ongoing efforts, though, that you've identified that would be at risk if it comes to that?
Again, the funding or the work itself does not stop. It's the funding that just gets delayed into the...
The work doesn't stop, it's just the funding. Well, that's everywhere except for me and you and everybody else we know. I gotta pay we have to pay our bills. We have to live within our means. We can't say the government has to live within its means. No, that's ridiculous. It's the whole thing. Well, of course it doesn't gotta live within its means. It's not. I hate that, people. Oh, talking about the government like it's a checkbook. Are you kidding me? Yeah, well, that's ridiculous too. I'm so tired of people talking about that too. Oh, we gotta pay them. No, you don't, for gosh sake. Stop doing that. That's just a lie. It is a lie, because the people who say that are the ones who got the money anyway, because they're all in Congress. Easy enough for them to say, oh, they got to live within their means. Government's got to pay its bills like, they'll say, they don't say themselves. No, they always put it off like, the working person or something. That's ridiculous. Yeah, the people who say that are the ones who all in the, oh my God. Yeah, right, it is. I'm tired of hearing it. Don't tell me anymore the government's got to live within its means. Sorry. No. That's only people who are well off who say something like that.
Next fiscal year.
I think you back to Hawaii administrator, because there's still a lot of questions among officials in Maui and Lahaina and across Hawaii about who was in charge in the hours as the fires burned and then the hours after. You're a veteran local emergency management official, state emergency management official, now at the federal level. How do you assess how officials there responded? Are there lessons to be learned, perhaps, from...
Oh, you got the good question there, boy. Right there it is. That is a good question. See, he's staring it back on target. He's got that's the bead right there. That's it. Accountability. Who on the ground is in charge? That's what the question is. That is the question. Because he knows they're not in charge, and he knows the president is, and he knows. He knows where to go. On the ground, in the moment. Like our men and women on the battlefield. They know that we know they're responsible. We do know that. It's very disrespectful for we the people who have to be in this position of being in harm's way, and those people who serve and put their life on the line. It's disrespectful that these folks put this much on the line, their lives. And this is the conversation? It's all everywhere in the government. It don't tell me bureaucracy. No. It's everywhere. It is. It goes on in local, it goes on, it goes on a lot less locally. Sort of, well, not really. Well, yeah. It's everywhere. Yeah, it is everywhere. Just like savoir-faire, it's everywhere.
Communities. And is your agency prepared to work with congressional Republicans if they launch investigations as they say they will?
Again, I was not.
Oh, there you go. See, he knows what really happened on the ground, and then is there going to be investigations? And that's Democrats. It don't matter. I don't care. Boy, they all in on that together. They got to look good. They're all friends anyway. We all know that. It looks like they're fighting. No, we all know that. Well, they're not. We know that. Of course we all know that. Stop pretending like you don't like one another up there. I'm so tired of that feigned, yeah, come on. Yeah, it's not even good acting. Really, it's not. Go to Broadway or go to a play, whatever, Yeah, he's right there. Some of these people actually would rather be holding back just to know that I'm going to... it's almost like if they could conjure up a hurricane, they would, just to see somebody screw up and blame them. Both sides do it at the same time. Nobody ever asks the questions about, on this block, in this corner, in this house. Of course they don't.
There during the response, and so I would be out of line to assess how they responded during the time, because I did not experience what they were experiencing. With the federal government.
I can't believe it. You know what? I'm not magic. I don't have a crystal ball, but right there it is. Oh, right there. Let's run it back.
About who was in charge in the hours as the fires burned and then the hours after. You're a veteran local emergency management official, state emergency management official now at the federal level. How do you assess how officials there responded? Are there lessons to be learned perhaps for other communities? And is your agency prepared to work with congressional Republicans if they launch investigations as they say they will?
Again, I was not there during the response, and so I would be out of line to assess how they responded during the time because I did not experience what they were experiencing. What the federal government does is we come in and we support their efforts, and that's exactly what we did, and we will continue to support their recovery and their rebuilding efforts as they move forward.
You know, since when is that the role of the federal government? Come on. What has happened? Now, I know Ronald Reagan, of course, he was for little government. He was. Of course he was. Well, he was, but they spent a lot of money, but, you know. But one thing about it, you know one thing. You know he's in charge. Of course. He would never allow something like that to be said. No, of course not. Just think about that. They talk Ronald Reagan, the Reaganomics, the fiscal conservative guy. Yeah, okay, fine, whatever. But we spent a lot of money during Reagan. Of course we did. Of course we did. Well, I'll guarantee you one thing. He made sure people were taken care of. Of course he did. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. You knew he was in charge. Of course you did. You didn't always like what he said, but whatever. You knew he was in charge, though. No doubt about it. I mean, just think about that. All that was accomplished. Just think about it. What have we accomplished? Yeah. What have we accomplished from 2000 till now, 20 years? And then think about from 1980 to 2000. Just think about that. From Ronald Reagan to the close of Bill Clinton. Just think about all that was done during those 20 years. Just think about all that. And then think about from 2000 till now. Boy, there ain't even a comparison. You can't even compare it. There's no comparison. I'm glad that I was alive through that other part. Because at least I have something to compare it to. Because I can remember still. I remember. Of course I do. Not a lot of people who can. There are people who can, but just think about that. In the last 40 years, just compare that. 20 years to 20 years. Look at that. It's amazing.
Properly briefed by FEMA authorities in Hawaii that would have been working with those officials?
What I was briefed on throughout the time is my regional administrator, Bob Fenton, happened to be...
Oh, now there's a regional below her. You see what I'm saying?
In Oahu for another meeting, and he was engaging with the team and giving us updates as to the spread of the fire and what the population was impacted and what the potential federal resources would be needed to come help support the initial response and the ongoing recovery efforts.
Congressional Republicans want you or other agency officials to testify about what went on in Hawaii?
I'm happy to testify on what the federal role was in this process.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much.
Just imagine what kind of testimony she can give. How was she going to have to say? I mean, just think about it. I don't think anything. They might still have one. I mean, what could she... They'll call her in because she's the FEMA administrator. Call her in. She might... Whatever. You won't know anything. And they know she don't know and they just do it anyway. Well, what purpose does that serve? I mean, I know right now she can't testify, so why would I waste my time to call this lady? What a waste of everybody's time. Why? Call her in for anything. Oh, that's all you need to know right here. Yeah, that's all you need to know. 19 minutes worth. 19 minutes worth. That's all you need to know.
Thank you.
Tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, one thing before we continue. Thank again the administrator for coming today and yesterday to provide all...
Thank them for coming today and yesterday. Thank them. I want to thank them. Oh my God, thank them. I don't get thanked for when I come to work and go. Oh, thank you for coming. Are you kidding me? God, oh my God. I'll tell you what. I know this. Staffers on those committees on the Hill, I know they work hard over there. I do know they do work hard. I do think those senators and Congress people, I do think they're pretty busy over there. I think they are pretty busy. They have hearings. They're on. Yeah, they got a big show to put on. I know they're busy over there. I know they are. I'm not sure about these people. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, really. Who even works at the White House? I don't even, really? I don't even know. I mean, God, who's the chief of staff? I have no idea even. I don't know who they are. I really couldn't even say, actually. I can't even remember her name. I know, look what she is, but I can't remember her name. I really can't. I don't know her name. I can't remember it. I should, but I don't know what it is. It's so uneventful. I mean, really. I mean, you know. Every time I look at it, I just like, well, where's Joe Biden? That's all I know. I mean, come on. That's all I say to myself. Well, I want to hear from Joe Biden. I mean, I'm tired of it now. I'm like, well, get Joe out here, you know? And I look at it sometimes, well, is he on a movie set? Sometimes I say, well, where is that at? You know, I'm like, is that on a movie set? Or is he all right? Or what's going on? I mean, I'm like, oh, I'm not sure sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, is it a Potemkin village? I'm like, oh my God, I hope the White House hasn't turned into one giant Potemkin village. I mean, I hope it's not. I mean, oh my God. I begin to wonder sometimes. I'm like, is this really at the White House sometimes? I mean, I'm telling you, I'm like, are we sure they're at the White House? I mean, are you sure this isn't a simulation or something? I mean, think about it. I mean, I'm not, I mean, really, I wonder,
All of you an update. So as Acting Labor Secretary Sue announced today...
Okay, so I gotta stop right there. It's 3 hours and 10 minutes. It is. This video is 3 hours and 10 minutes long, and we've done 20 minutes on this other video. Oh my goodness. It's Sunday, February 25th at 2:47 p.m.